heard your name mentioned or watched any of the episodes, but a couple of the comedians have talked about you, especially, I think one of the episodes was me and Nick Lacer. Because as a one-liner, you're my favorite. Because I'm a one-liner as well. I try to be. Sometimes I go off into some stories, but
Yeah.
mainly, like, I didn't hear of any good ones until I seen you. I seen you at a helium competition, I think it was, or something, and fucking murdered it.
Huh.
And,
Must have been a long time ago.
it was about a year and a half, maybe.
I didn't.
It was an open mic at Helium or something like
Maybe.
that, one of those. And because Kyle Fields was there that night too, so it might have been just an open mic. I think so.
Yeah, the last two times I went to Helium, I got third like 3 years ago, but I didn't make it through the first round the last 2 years. Like I think both of them I was doing fairly well, and then my last joke just bombed.
Yeah.
And then they're very strict where I was out of time, so I just had to get off. Like I didn't have time to do anything. So, yeah.
Yeah. Last time I performed there was for that competition they had, and there was no timer, no light, nobody was. I think I did like 7-8 minutes.
Yeah.
I was just having a good set, and I was just treating it as an open mic. I wasn't planning on. I had JC Sabala, Matt Barnes, Precious J, which ended up winning it. So like I knew I wasn't gonna beat any of them. So I just kind of treated it as an open mic, and I was doing really well, and I just kept going with it. So.
Dude, I swear they forget to light you. Like, I don't know. Helium open mics, it always seems like they're just not paying attention and then they don't light you or they forget to light you.
Yeah. But I like Helium's setup the best as far as the way you got the back room to come into, and you get to come in through the back of the door and everything.
Yeah.
I've been trying to talk Tobin into doing that at the back door because he's got a little room right there that's just cut off with curtains. I was like, dude, we could build, as a carpenter, I'm like, yeah, I could build a door, come right in through the back, have a little green room.
Is that like, am I thinking in the waitress station?
For the back door?
Yeah.
No, it's just like storage. You just got a couple, if you're like looking at this stage and it's up in the corner, if you go off down that wall, that side wall, there's a couple tables that people sit there, and there's a curtain. And that curtain separates a whole nother little section of a room. I was like, dude, we could build a little green room and frame in a door and have it set up legit. But I don't know. I think he wants to go bigger, in all honesty.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know how big his room is right now. I think it's maybe 75, 80. But
Well, if Corona wasn't a thing.
yeah, with Corona not being a thing. He may be able to pack in 100. But
That seems like a lot.
yeah, but I mean, what is Helium in Funny Bone?
Yeah, before Corona, maybe 300 tops. I think Funny Bone sat more efficiently, and they can fit less at Helium, even though it's bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now it's like, yeah, you're at best half capacity. You're kind of limited.
Yeah, I
in a lot of
remember the
ways.
Funny Bone at the Valley Park when they had that going. That could fit a decent amount. I've seen a few there. Whatever happened with that? Were you around working for him then?
Yeah. It was like New Year's Eve, like 3 years ago maybe, and like they just weren't doing well, and they were counting on New Year's Eve to kind of make some money for them, and then it flooded, and they couldn't do the weekend.
Yeah, because I lived right down the road from it. Like I could literally walk there.
Yeah.
Because I would some nights when John would perform. John Maddie would do open mics when he first started, and I would just walk down there, get drunk, and then go over to Bobby's, and then walk back home. Me and my old lady rented a little house out there. And I really liked that place. I was surprised it didn't do as well, but with the flooding, I keep forgetting because we got flooded and that's a big reason we moved out of there. It's because we had to move twice for the flooding, and it was getting ridiculous. Luckily, we never got any damage. All the neighbors around us with basements, we were on a slab. It's like they soaked up all the water because they were getting 3 or 4 foot of water. Getting a little echo. It's got to be that fan. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure all this out. I really need a Jamie You know, like Joe Rogan's got that guy Jamie that he always uses.
Yeah.
I need one of them. Because I've reached out to a few bigger names. I got one that I've been talking to when he comes into town for the Helium, Jeff Dye. I don't know if you're familiar. He does like a show on NBC and is touring right now. So I think he'll be here next month. And me and him have been talking. I've been trying to get him on. So I need to get a Jamie that really knows all this. I've got the audio dialed in, but like I ordered some cameras back in the day, and they came in and they were just shit for the price. And I went into the camera store and was talking to somebody trying to get educated, and he's like, "You got the brand new iPhone." He said, "If you're not moving around and doing no motion, specs are the same as one of these $2,000 DSLRs." I was like, yeah, but I still want some cameras. I want like 2 of them with a switcher board that I can, professionally kind of present it. Because I'm addicted to when I do something, I just jump fucking, well, it annoys the shit out of my wife. Like my garage, we do an Etsy store, building shelves and just home decor and stuff. And my garage and the tools that I went all out and bought just to do that is ridiculous. She's like, "Why do you need all of it?" It's like, just don't let me go to Home Depot. Just don't let me go to Lowe's or Home Depot. As a carpenter, that's my toy store. Like, I could use a new one of these. I could use a skill saw. Yeah, I'll find something to do with it. But so you pretty much just is that like your full time? What do you do full time?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He has like 20 hours a week at the Funny Bone, and then I've done various other things.
Yeah.
Done work for my parents, like construction stuff.
Yeah, what is construction stuff? Is your dad or parents run?
I mean, like,
Because that's my cup of tea. That's what I've been doing, construction.
putting like walls in the basement, like putting the studs in and insulating and putting paneling
framing
and stuff.
Remount, yeah, okay. That's
A little
what
bit
I
of
do.
wiring, and then just random
Yeah, okay.
tasks.
Yeah. So contractor.
Yeah, I think it's like a form of charity, really. They insist on paying me like $20 an hour. I'm like, I'm not worth that much, so I just underreport my hours.
Oh no, that's about right. I'm about a $30 an hour framer, and I build houses for a living. Like the company I've been working for did like Jim Edmonds' house years back, and like huge mansion. So, and I'm not by far not the most experienced guy out there.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it for quite a few years. So, yeah, $20 if you, and being
Seems a bit generous.
Nah, that's. You got to don't sell yourself short. You're doing a lot, especially if you
But
do
also-
it yearly, like every day. You sacrifice a lot of your body for that job. Time, you're up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, but also like in most jobs, like your boss wouldn't constantly like insist you sit down.
Oh yeah,
And have like food.
Are they hiring? That's a big thing. I'm actually looking to switch jobs, careers, which is a horrible idea at 30, or 31. But it's just I love my job. I like what I do. I can't stand the people I work with. Your typical, what people think of when you think of Trumpers, like homophobic, racist. Like that is to a T what you deal with. And then they found out my real dad's gay and my stepdad. The other man I call dad is black, so I catch all kinds of fucking little comments and shit.
Yeah.
And it's just annoying. Every day you have to deal with it and hear the bullshit. It's like, just do your job and shut the fuck up, especially when it comes to politics. Because I don't have a side. I think they're both fucking dumb. Like it's obviously Stanford just released a report saying that it's like 0.003% of what we, the people's vote counts. Like they've done how much, what laws we've gotten changed, elections, the politicians, and it's like, yeah, we really don't even have, not even 100th. We're down to the 1,000th.
Yeah.
But the corporations have a 90% chance of getting what they want. So we're pretty much an oligarchy now. And I try to explain that, and it's like, you guys just aren't intelligent enough to figure it out. Just swing your hammer. Shut up.
I think even in an ideal democracy, I don't find it very motivating to vote. Like a lot of people will get really angry at you if you just say like, I don't vote because I know it's not going to matter.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. Haven't voted in a while. I just don't feel either one has earned my vote. That Andrew Yang guy, he had me sold with what he was talking about with automation and how anytime they asked him a question, he answered it. It's like
Yeah.
he answered it. Like you don't see that. He always came in with the math and shit. And I'm big on that. I went to college for economics and civics because I wanted to go to Wall Street, and that didn't happen, obviously. So like when he answered it with actual research and numbers, I was like, no one else is doing that. They're just like, we got to get Trump out. We got to get, and
Yeah.
then Trump's just talking shit, which I like the way Joe Rogan and them have explained Trump. He's just an old New York fucking comedian, really, because he did have some jokes.
There are some badass clips of him. Like, there's some things that annoy me about most politicians that he doesn't have that trait. Like, he just doesn't like cower and apologize for stuff he doesn't think he should apologize for, which is refreshing. But like, as a guy who doesn't pay attention to politics at all, it's almost like anytime everyone talks about how bad something is, and like 99% of people in my friend group on my social media that I see, they're all like skew very liberal, just being a 26-year-old and a comedian.
Yeah.
Nothing ever lives up to stuff that people insult a lot, you know? Like anytime you try to hate watch, like, oh, this Amy Schumer special is so bad. If you go in hearing that, it's just never gonna,
Yeah.
live up. So
You gotta, going in unbiased into any situation or looking at anybody or anything is quite hard to do today, especially with everything's got a review and a rating. It's like, how the fuck can I like to make my own opinion. I do follow politics. Unfortunately, I don't know why it interests me. I think I just like to really stick it to my parents. My pops and my mom, so they're both real Democrat, the vote blue no matter who, and it's like that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, what policy does the Biden have or run on that's got you sold? And it's not about policy. We got to get Trump out. Like, well, next person that goes into presidency, the fucking market's gonna crash on their head.
Yeah.
Just as we've never had a 13, 14-year long bull market run when it comes to the financial market. And never in history, mankind has any market ran this hot as far as record every quarter. Companies, NASDAQ, S&P are all hitting record highs. It usually every 4 to 7 years we have a correction because everything gets overvalued. So they got to correct itself, or we have a crash. And the longer we go without it crashing, that's one thing I said about Trump. He was great at manipulating the market. He did a hell of a job, like keeping that market. Because I've been saying, I was like, it's gonna crash on the next one, and I said it last time. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll just keep going up and shit values will just keep going up. But I can't see that happening. I can't see Tesla and Amazon staying at $1,000 a share, or being valued at that. Bitcoin's looking at like 200 and something thousand by the end of the year, supposedly, and it's steadily been working on it. So that's where I've been putting my money. Bitcoin. I don't know if you fuck with any of that stuff. I know a lot of people got into it after the GameStop bullshit, which was great to see. But then I realized how many people are going to lose some money.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't get into the GameStop now. It's already made the news. You got to catch the next wave. And no, people were playing that shit. And I was like, who would buy GameStop at $400 a share? But here or there. But back to the main topic is comedy. So you work some contracting, so you're just waiting on your comedy to take off then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Do you ever do any touring? Me and Maddie were talking about like working on a week, taking a week off of work and hitting the road, trying to line up some shows and stuff. I know he's got he all day. I could open for him. I could do an easy 10 or 15 for him. I got that all day. But 30 minutes, I don't know. That'd have to be a really good crowd with a lot of laughs in between each joke.
Yeah.
But since I know not COVID, but I know a lot of these other guys like Ronaldo and like Barnes and Thatcher, whichever it is. was about to hit the road right before COVID. Have you thought about doing any of that?
No,
No.
I'm really lazy. I mean, I've driven to like New York once before and LA once, and that's about it.
No.
I mean, I've done little shows like in the Midwest.
New York and LA. You drove to LA?
Yeah, with another comedian. It was
How
probably
long?
like 3 years ago.
How long of a drive was that for you guys? Did you line up other shows on the way?
No, it was all open mics.
All
We
over.
just did open mics, same as in New York. Well, no, actually, I had a guy who could get me on a show in New York, but that was like a 13-day trip, and then stop in Kansas City, Denver. That's pretty much the extent.
I was thinking about Texas. I think Texas is the next big fucking spot. I've heard too many comedians talking about going out there and opening up their own thing.
Yeah.
Between everybody knows the Joe Rogans, and then you've got, who was the other? Was it Tom Segura or one of those guys? They're opening up their own fucking comedy place. It's like Austin's gonna be big for fucking comedy. That Asheville, North Carolina, I hear is getting really big. And where's that Hot Breath podcast dude from? Joel, whatever his name is. He does the Hot Breath podcast. Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta's really good for comedy too. So, which that's not that far, I don't think.
I don't know.
I think it's like a half a day drive. Here or there.
I just
I don't
drove from San Diego like 4 days ago. It's like 26 hours.
What were you doing out there? You do a show out there?
No, my girlfriend, like, she's like, there's something wrong with my gums, so I'm going to get a laser operation on my gums in Mexico. And she really wanted me, I'm good. She really wanted me to come along. She kind of guilted me into it, so I'm like, all right. And then we just made like a week out of it. And then after driving her to Mexico, we also went to San Diego afterwards and then drove home. A lot of driving. Like, it's fucking rough.
And you date a comedian, correct? Does she, what's her name, Janelle?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen her at the back door once or twice. We've had a few conversations. I think my wife and her have talked more than her and I did. But
Yeah.
she's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Does she still doing it or
No.
No, that's cool. You know,
It's not really fun. I don't know. You get so nervous for a person you're dating watching them on stage.
Dude. My wife did a couple sets when I first got into it. And yes, it is hard. And it's hard to criticize or critique something. Like, me and Ratcliffe are pretty good buddies. I'll tell him if something sucked or if something was good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind that. But
Yeah, I don't think most romantic relationships have that ability.
yeah, it's definitely hard. But she did actually get laughs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she had some funny stuff. And she would always do. I've never seen you both up there at the same time. That's
At Backdoor?
Yeah, Backdoor or where else have I seen? I think the Helium. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I've seen her quite.
She's
a few at
been
the
there
Backdoor.
before.
Yeah, you guys don't hit that one up too much, do you?
Helium?
The Backdoor.
I should. I might just show up tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike's a pretty nice guy. He'd probably get you on there.
Maybe. I mean, I've tried before.
Yeah.
But I don't expect him to. There's
Yeah.
no reason he should, but yeah, I might just go and hang out. It's just I don't get the you have to wake up at 8 a.m. to sign up thing.
Yeah, I've already been up and working for 3 hours almost. So I didn't get to sign up this week. I totally spaced on it because it's been so many fucking weeks since he's had it. But last week I did. I went and I got a great spot. And I think I was number 9, and it was great. I got a great video off of it because that's what I kind of been working on. I did a little bit of crowd work. It was almost set up perfectly. A lady. Old couple was walking by, coming to the show as I was getting out, and I just finished smoking. And she's like, "I think there's a dead skunk in the parking lot." So I used that. Like, as soon as I got on, and she was sitting right up front. I was like, "Oh, this is just too easy. Like, how is this?" So I had said a few things to her. I was like, "I know you thought I was a skunk." I was like, "But that's a really expensive skunk. It's like $225 an ounce." You know. Like, but thanks for the compliment. And she laughed. Everyone laughed. And that place, I always get good laughs there. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it there.
Yeah.
Been there maybe 10 times total, but
I just really like Mike Tobin. He's so genuine. He's always right there. He's willing to help. And he's actually at every show, every open mic. He's there, showing support and putting that whole thing together. He's booking everything. He's putting all the shows together. He does a lot of work for something that I don't think is making him all that much money in all actuality, just because of the size of his room, especially now that COVID. You're paying these comics, and I was looking up comics to book from the same place. I think he's booking them, and they're everywhere between $400 to $900 a weekend.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that much.
Well, also, I'm not even sure if he gets any revenue from drinks or food.
Yeah, I think that's.
So I don't know how you fucking make.
I don't know. That's why he's really in it for the comedians. He's really always helped us out. Always put in the time for something that I know he could be making money doing something else. He's made $1 million, built and sold $1 million companies throughout his career of being an entrepreneur. Because I've had him on here and asked him, actually talked to him. I was like, well, what are you thinking? Why do you want to deal with us? Us fucking either addiction, emotional fucking depression. I was like, why do you want to work with us all the time? He's like, I just seen that you guys don't know how to market yourselves. Comedians, they've got something and they really don't know how to market themselves, and I think I could be a big help to that. I was like, that's cool, because I've never once met the owner of the Funny Bone, which maybe you can tell me. Who's the owner? The owner, not the GM, the owner.
His name is Gerald Kubak.
And why does he think comedians hate him? Because I've heard that he thinks that he doesn't have a good reputation at his own place. I was like, dude, you run the Funny Bone. How can you?
I don't know. I wasn't aware that was a thing.
Yeah, what? These ladybugs, man. Spring is in the air. I've had them 2 episodes now. They come in when that light comes on. Anyway, Nick Kuvar, I guess, was sitting at the bar one time at the Funny Bone, and the owner had shown up there and asked for something, and Nick didn't know he was talking to him because there was other people around.
Yeah.
And so he kind of just ignored it, and I guess he got the response, oh, great, another fucking comedian that don't like me. And it's like, why does he think nobody likes him? I've never met the guy, never seen him.
Yeah.
Has he ever go to the shows? Is there any
Yeah,
comedian?
yeah, occasionally. I see his wife more often. She's very nice. I don't know. I've never talked that much to Gerald. Sometimes I'm alone working in the box office, and Gerald and his brother, who runs a back street next door, sometimes they'll just have some drinks at the bar, and you can hear them yelling about politics.
I'm gonna have to. I want to get him on, because that's why I want to try to find whoever runs the Helium as well and get him on, just to.
Yeah.
Because that's something. Business. Yeah, it's all been comedians and business owners. I've had business owners and comedians, so that's kind of want to get these the idea and the mindset of these guys that run these clubs that we don't ever see. I figured if you had a comedy club, you'd really enjoy comedy and always want to be there.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my thought if I owned a club. Probably wouldn't show up every night to the open mics if I owned my own club, that's for sure. That's why I'm like...
Although I guess he doesn't really have... I guess he does have one employee, but he doesn't have the ability to leave and have everyone else do everything, So I guess Mike needs to be there every night.
Yeah. Well, I think.
But he watches, but I guess he has to watch. There's nowhere to not watch the open mic.
Yeah. I think Nick, he's handing everything off, like how Scott James does all the Funny Bone stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's handing that off to Nick Lacer now that he's opened back up. And there's a couple of good shows. I know Nick Kuvar is booking a show with Reggie, which I don't know if you've seen Reggie lately or him perform lately, but goddamn.
Yeah.
Him and Nate Orton, it really just shows you need to live somewhere that there's comedy.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I ran into Nathan Orton last night. It's cool to see him. I felt so bad because last time he was in town from New York, I'm like, we'll hang out, and then I just never did.
Yeah.
I feel like a shitty friend, but yeah, he's very comfortable on stage. He did the open mic last night. Funny.
Yeah, I had Rob Durham, and he talked about Nate Norton and how much he works and puts in on writing and everything.
Yeah.
Which,
Nathan will like stop jerking off for a year because he thinks that'll like make him a better comedian. He's like Mike Tyson.
well, I don't know about that.
I don't know. That sounds like
But hey,
kind of a health nut and very dedicated.
yeah, he's been over here once. I let him and Lucas. They shot a couple episodes of their podcast while they were in town last time. So I've been trying to get them on here, but they've just been so busy. All of us, I know, especially now that the vaccine's out and everybody's allowed to start performing again. It's
Yeah.
been a lot harder getting a lot of you guys. I'm surprised you're not booked up. Have you gotten anything yet?
Shows?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've noticed that it's not many of us darker comedians are booking all that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so lazy. Like, pretty much all I do is the Funny Bone open mic. I've barely done that.
Wow,
I mean,
you
I
fucking kill
like.
it.
I think the manager likes me enough to where I feel like it's my fault if I don't get any work at the Funny Bone, and I just haven't like tried recently. And then I don't know where else I would get booked because I don't know who books other shows, and I don't go to those open mics or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's the what's the I think Jason Dormeyer and his old lady Nicole Gorey have been putting on a lot of shows. Gary over at Red Flag, he's been putting on a lot of shows with them.
Yeah.
And now that Back Door's open, they'll be putting on a lot of shows. But yeah, I don't really know. I didn't even get picked up for a 420 show. I got hit up last year for a 420 show, and I was like, I don't even have the material like that. I just don't do much weed jokes because I feel it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what they expect from me. I have some drug jokes, don't get me wrong. Half my shit can be converted into something with drugs, but I don't know. I gotten to the point where I was like, yeah, that's the basic subjects every comedian talks about. But
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's like comedian to most of their materials about a certain thing, it usually sucks.
yeah, I try to do I try to have 5 minutes. I'm married, so I should have some marriage material. I do have that, and then. But as a one-liner, I get to write about anything. And I'm sure you like. I don't have to stick with a story or a theme, and that was probably one of my favorite things is being able to just jump around to different things.
I used to worry about that. I'm like, all my jokes contradict each other. I'll be like homophobic in one joke and gay, after that, and somehow I have 5 grandparents die in one set.
That's great. That's almost. I think who else did that? That was real. I think it was Stephen Wright. He would like. My grandfather, and then his very next joke was like my other grandfather, and then another joke, my other grandfather, and it was like, but your shit is just like what's your writing like? Is it just something that pops in that you hear or think of real quick and you jot it down?
Yeah, because I haven't tried to write. I went through like a phase, maybe 1 week, where I went to coffee shops and sat down and tried to write. But mostly it's like. It comes to me either in conversation or I'm by myself, and then I do very little work after that.
Oh, I hear you. That's one great thing about being a one-liner. We look for the most polished shit right there in front of us.
No, I think that's why I'm a one-liner, because it's just I'm too lazy to write more.
I started as a storyteller, and I think that's what takes me so long to perfect a joke is because I write everything out in a story form or like just a situation that happened, and then I go through and I try to find the funny. I was like, all right, the whole situation was funny. What was funny about it? And then hopefully I can break it down into where it's a short, quick bang.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of your shit, like you have a couple of those fuck you jokes. It's like, God damn it, I wish I thought of that. Like it's just like that what is it? Your the bugles. Then you're an eagle jerking off as of that, dude. You said that the first time I heard that, I was like, "That's fucking hilarious." And the room wasn't there very big, but I'm dying and I'm looking around, and a couple people aren't even. They're like, "I don't get it." It's like, it's the point. Like it's I like that. I've got a few jokes like that, and sometimes they hit hard, and then sometimes the room is just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
supposed to.
I mean, I have a lot of jokes like that where they really don't make sense. Which means when they bomb, you completely question if they're funny at all. Because like some things are like set up, punchline, just makes perfect sense on paper. And those are like, well, I know that it's just math, but you have any weird joke, if it doesn't do well just once, then you're completely questioning if it's funny at all.
Yeah, that's I have one that it's I say it around certain people, and some people get it, some people don't. It's just I bought a Jeep once, thought I would be cool and put a "if you can read this, flip me over" sticker on the bottom. Went and got the oil changed, and I came back and it was upside down. So there I am driving down the boulevard, sparks flying everywhere, and a lady looks over at me and with confusion. I said, "Don't worry, it's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand." And people, it gets dead crickets every time. It's like, "Well, I think that's funny." So there's something there. I've a lot of the stuff that I thought was funny when I first started, definitely. Now that I look at it, I was like, "That's really hacky and not too funny." Like there's
Yeah.
a joke there, but everybody. I've noticed a lot of people making some of the jokes, or storytellers like Scott James did one of the joke. I did an impeachment joke about everyone think that's the worst thing that can happen to a president, but I disagree, and I think JFK would too. And Scott James uses that as just like punching up one of his stories. It's like, man, that's like one of my solid jokes that he's just using as a little, it's similar. It's not like either one of us stole it. It's just similar, and
Yeah.
it makes me realize I was like, I like storytellers more than anything. I feel anybody, everybody loves a good storyteller and a good story. So yeah, I can do one-liner dick jokes and stuff like that, but you see one of the like Reggie or someone come in, or who's the other guy that does Kyle Fields, that just he doesn't prepare anything, goes out and just kills the crowd and works the crowd and everything. It's like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be that good. But then they tell you that they're not good at writing one-liners. You find that out, and I don't know. So I didn't know I've always wondered how you wrote, how you figured your shit out, because me, a lot of now that I'm definitely stick with the one-liners, it kind of come to me. I'm able to jot them down. They're right there. It's
Yeah.
like, how didn't I see this sooner? But for a long time, I was just writing and trying to figure out all the different forms of jokes and everything. And there is no other one-liners to bounce any ideas off of, and to find out how they're doing it.
Well, they've moved or quit.
Yeah.
There's been a couple. Lucas left, and then Casey Paulson's very funny. I haven't seen him in a while. That's probably about it.
Paulson, I haven't seen him. I'm not sure with that one. Do you ever get annoyed? Do you ever hear a comedian that's a veteran or whatever they want to call it, that come to you and say, "I was a one-liner when I first started too"? Like you'll
No, it's always it's always younger people because it's like an annoying thing. But yeah, no
so it's
actual
not just me that gets it.
no, but no actual comedian usually says that. I don't know.
Yeah, don't they? I kept hearing that from people. I did a show, I think it was Mo Alexander or this other guy from Chicago that I hosted for at the Back Door. And he came at me with that. He's like, "Yeah, I remember when I first started, I did one-liners too." I was like, no. I was a storyteller at first, and I sucked at it.
Yeah.
I was like, and I really liked the one-liners and got in with that. So, and it just, every time one of these guys that try to give you some advice, which I'm all about advice and knowledge. If you're going to give it to me for free, awesome. But that's kind of like more of a, I was there once. It's like, dude, no, that's my thing. That's what I'm doing. And some people don't understand it. Because they started as one-liners and turned them into stories. They don't like one-liners, I guess, so much. Or they get called a street artist or street jokes or whatever they're called. I've had myself brought up at shows like that a few times. It's like,
But you're doing street jokes?
Yeah. And the only time I do I do have some street jokes when I'm at open mic at a bar and everyone's just fucking wasted. I'm not gonna try to go into a long story or a real in-depth fucking intellectual joke when they're not gonna pay attention to half of it. I'm just gonna do the quickest, most dark jokes I've got. Abortion.
So they're street type jokes, but
Yeah.
they're not like, generally when I think of street jokes, they're, someone else wrote them and just everyone uses them.
Oh yeah, no, that is a big no, but that's one thing I worry about as being a one-liner, is someone hearing your joke and putting it into their, kind of just taking it and putting a story around it. Have you ever seen any of you guys doing that, or hear your shit? It's like, it's very similar, but he's got a whole story around it.
I don't know if I've ever really worried about anyone else taking my stuff. It's been a lot of like accidental people doing the same jokes, especially one-liners. There's some jokes everyone does, like early on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't worry about people stealing from me. Like the only people who steal, it seems, are like first timers who have no concept of like how people are aware of Stephen Wright, for instance. Like, there's one woman who just did all Stephen Wright jokes thinking we wouldn't notice. Or some people just don't know that it's, they're very nice people, but they just think stand-ups just do street jokes. I don't know. And then this woman did like 4 minutes of Stephen Wright jokes, and then a couple people confronted her nicely afterwards, and she just played dumb. She's like, I didn't know there's any similarities between my jokes and this Stephen Wright guy.
Yeah, okay. Like the most, I think, to me, besides Henny Youngman, just for being one of the OGs, is probably the godfather of one-liners. Yes, you got Mitch Hedberg and Jimmy Carr and those other guys, but Stephen Wright, the shit he wrote, the dude got a Grammy for a movie. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, and he's still alive. A lot of people ask me, like, talk about him like he's dead, but he's still performing out there in Texas.
Yeah.
And,
He moved to Texas?
Yeah.
When was that?
I couldn't tell you. I know last time I looked him up, he was performing out at the Improv, I believe, in Texas. And that was right, I think, around COVID, because I even thought he had passed away. I was like,
Yeah.
because he looked a little rough last time I seen him on the late night show. But he's cool with that.
I know he's in like, he was one of the last things Louis C.K. did, like his Horace and Pete show. He was on that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he's done a special in a while.
No, he hasn't. The last one I think was at some blue music room or something like that you can get the audio recording of it. But
Dude, he did a funny joke on Conan. He like shuffles a deck of cards and he goes, pick one, and Conan picks one. And he's like, which one is it? And Conan goes, it's a 7 of spades, and he goes, yup.
And yeah,
Dumbest.
so. Have you ever noticed? Like, I remember I've watched a lot of the Stephen Wright late nights, and he comes on. He's very awkward. He still does his whole persona that he has, and some of the late night hosts can't fucking figure it out. They're just like, is this him really? It gets a little uncomfortable, and I really like that he sticks with that shit. But yeah, I'm also a big fan of like Jamie Foxx and Kinison when it comes to the shock and storytelling as far as acting out. And I wish I could do some shit like that. Like Jamie Foxx when he comes to acting out on the stage, or Cat Williams, fucking amazing. Or Sam Kinison, how he could be right in your face and you work with the crowd and yelling at a crowd like that. I've yet to see anyone do anything like Sam Kinison yet. Which you probably see a lot more people come and go. Were you there the night the old M-bomb got dropped by the white guy?
No, but actually, he had come up the week before when I was working the box office and asked me about the open mic. And like his second question is if he could say the N-word.
So he had planned on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody I think had trolled him and called this company and asked him what he was thinking. Why would you do that? And he's like, oh, I just got nervous. No, you obviously planned it. Like
No.
that was premeditated racism.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was like a week in advance. He fucking
It's-
asked me. And I probably should have just told him no. But
yeah,
instead, I was like, I was really had to, I was like, I don't know, what would they want me to say? I'm like, it feels wrong but to both say you can say the N word and you can't say the N word. So I was just like, I wouldn't advise it.
yeah.
It's probably not going to be funny, but
There's not many that I don't think. I no. Ralphie did it. Ralphie May.
yeah,
But
horrible racist.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, he was married to a Mexican.
That's close enough.
Yeah, no, he was. But he was able to say it and got away with it. I think Gary Owens did back in the day. With
I mean, lots of people, Doug Stanhope, Louis C.K. Someone told me a really funny Mark Norman joke where he said it.
I had friends because I grew up in a predominantly black family, and then that's my stepdad and cousins.
It's such a weird term.
Yeah.
Predominantly black family.
There was a couple pink ones. Me, my mom, my sister. When she was living with us, she moved in and out a lot. But all my black friends would try to get me to say it. And I was like, no, not going to do it. And my moms and pops still, like they don't play that fucking shit. And just have the respect to not to. And that's why I don't think I would ever even try to write something that I had to say it. Because
It'd be a challenge to make it funny because it's just, very serious.
Do you think it's somebody good enough is out there to be able to still today, 2021?
Yeah, there's no reason Louis and Doug Stanhope couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did jokes 5 years ago with it. I don't think they would. I don't think their audiences are any more, PC today than they were then. So you could totally be funny enough to do it.
I think Bill Burr could do it. I mean, he's married to a black woman.
Yeah.
Maybe, but they've been wanting to cancel him for a while too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just with the cancel culture today, I watch a lot of stand up. Sometimes I get in this little fucking just little urge to where I watch a bunch of stand up. Like Netflix has always got new shit. I feel a lot of comedians today, because of cancel culture, are holding back, especially some of the greats. Like they just don't want to. They would be using different words and having much. It just doesn't seem as raw as it usually used to.
Huh.
Like
I've watched so
holding
little
back.
stand up. I mean, I feel like I'm only seeing open micers for the most part, and no one there really. I don't know.
Yeah, so you see the same stuff over and over.
But like, it doesn't make sense for people to be afraid of being canceled at the Funny Bone for the most part. Like, it's just.
Well, unless you drop the M-bomb.
Yeah.
Because they went hard on that guy. Like, he shut down his whole Facebook business page, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, that's what you get. I mean,
Well, at least it wasn't in a sentence.
Yeah.
I mean.
So he just came out and said, I wasn't there.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people talk about what it was. Apparently, just like, he came up and he's just like, faggot, cunt. He just says a bunch of words like that. And then at one point he like goes, do you guys like freedom? And then there's a pause. And then he just yelled it. And then didn't say anything after it. And then just got booed off stage.
Yeah, that's, I thought it would have went down a little bit worse. How many black people were there that night? I thought there was.
I think Reggie was out at the bar. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't there. But actually, I heard some people talk about it. And it's like almost all the black guys were somewhere else that night. They were doing the Sunday open mic that week instead of the Tuesday because they were doing, I think, Word Up or maybe a different show.
It was the Word Up competition.
So there's very few black people there than you would expect usually.
Yeah, because I actually finished second that night in the competition. I was quite stoked because there was Marquise Moore beat me, but it was like Jason Nelson, I think, who else? Tommy Dangerfield, Tonario, Mary Jane, I think. Quite a few hella good comedians.
Yeah.
They came out. I wanted to score. I was like, what was the score? So I know what I need to like where I was at. She's like, "Oh, you got second with 95 points out of 100." I was like, "You're fucking bullshit." But it did have a really good set as far as
That's not leaving a lot of room. Like you're 95 and Stephen Wright would be 97. Like there's five points left.
Yeah, well, yeah, Marquis got a 98.
Jeez.
Yeah, he would.
I don't know if you should get a 90 out of 100. Unless you're going last and you're like, he's way better than everyone else. And I wish I had rated them lower so I could give him 100,
Yeah, well, he did kill it, though. And he hadn't performed in like 3 months because he like stopped because of COVID.
Yeah.
So it just makes me feel even worse because it's like I've been hitting every open mic up I can find during the COVID just to try to keep the rust off. And he comes back after 3 months and just murders it.
Wow.
But I still think, I think the Jason and Tommy Dangerfield both did better than what they were scored. So I don't know the judges, though. But
Yeah.
maybe I got the white card. I was one of the only white guys there. They're like, we don't want to come off racist here. But
I got to pee.
yeah, do it up, man. But, Ronaldo and Mike and somebody else has had a competition going so far.
All right, I guess we'll see how loud it is. Dude,
Yeah.
I took a lot of fucking great peas driving back from San Diego. Because I'm drinking coffee and beer the whole trip.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I peed a lot in a water bottle in the car.
That's kind of gnarly. I've done that on some trips, though.
I was shy about farting on mic for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I've finally gotten all the analytics, and it's mostly just 30-year-old dudes that watch. It's like 90%. Although, I get, usually each episode I can get cutting out short clips, just small segments of the video. Each one, I'll do like 4 or 5 out of each episode, and I'll get one of them and at least get into the minimum 1,500 views.
Wow.
And so that'll let me get more analytics. And yeah, it's mostly just dudes.
Yeah.
I haven't had many chicks on. I think I've had my wife and her friend once, and because they were really stoned one night. And
Was that how they were like credited on the podcast? Is my wife's friend?
curse. Yeah, kind. I don't know. I'm an
Don't mention her.
asshole. Yeah, it's like I've cracked some jokes sometimes, and not realizing that she's a woman too, because she is a cool chick. She really is, and still got to realize she's a lady though, and can't treat her like one of the guys, because I've made some jokes that have made her cry. Yeah, that guy. You want another one, bud?
Sure.
Awesome. So you get to you got to see and meet quite a few decent comedians that come to the Funny Bone, then, right? Working there.
Yeah. Although honestly, I barely even worked weekends. I think I worked like Thursdays and Sundays for like the first 3 years I worked there until one guy quit. But yeah, a decent amount of people hang out after the shows. Held the door for the Louis C. K.
Oh, that's a career fucking highlight. But
It really was.
I can only imagine.
And you get to hear about like Louis just gave people money. It's just super awesome. And then like other people you just hear are like assholes.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that there was one guy that was really cool that I met, John, I think
Morgan?
hosted. No, John Maddie hosted, and his name he had. Don't make me put this baby down was one of his big jokes. He was from L.A. and he was talking about he bumped into somebody, a lady told him, "Don't make me put this baby down," and he said I could go.
Oh, I didn't know what it meant. I was thinking like euthanized a baby.
No, yeah, and the joke basically, he tells her, "Go ahead and put the baby down," and he drop kicks the baby across the street. So he was super fucking cool. I've heard. I've been trying to get John on. He's just so busy. I haven't brought him on because we do the other podcast too, which we haven't done that in a while. But his story about, have you heard the Ray Romano? I think is it not Ray Romano? The Corky Romano, or whatever. His story about when he came and performed, and
Oh, you mean is that a character, Corky?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
I forget his fucking name, but John has his license because he lost it in the back seat.
Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan, yes, yeah. So, like the stories that some of you guys get with some of these comedians that you meet is just
I heard Chris isn't allowed back at one of the hotels
yes,
we had him booked at the
Yes.
Funny Bone.
yes, and John had to drive around and try to find him other hotel while he was sick. Let's say, so. Yeah.
I mean, I know he's sober now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was years ago from what I hear. But still a great story to have Chris Kattan sleeping in the backseat of your fucking S10 Trailblazer, whatever, while he's driving around trying to find hotels to get him in. But so do you ever work with any of them? Do they ever let you do any of the guest spots feature?
I've hosted a few times. I actually featured like once several years ago. And then I know like I could get guest spots probably. Actually, the last couple times Matt asked me if I wanted to do a guest spot when I came up on like a Friday. I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to go up.
You prepare a lot before you go on or something? Is that
I almost never figure out before I get to a place what I'm doing there. I always write this like a set list out because I just hate it. I'm always running through my jokes like I don't like any of these. And
yeah. You get tired of doing the same one. That's the big worry I have with like the I do write a lot. I write a lot of stuff down at work. I always keep a little dictaphone or notebook on me for ideas, but doing the same shit over and over is like because
Yeah.
it's the same crowd, especially like the Word Up. It's pretty much the same crowd every week almost, and I'm not gonna like they have another competition coming up the last Tuesday of this month. I'm not gonna get second place with the same shit I used last time.
Yeah.
So, but being a one-liner, you got a lot of jokes that I can use, but I don't like because they suck to me. But if my wife or Mike or somebody goes through them, he's like, "Oh, these are all good. You can still use these." I don't know.
it really is the crowd. Like that made me realize that my shame in using the same joke a lot is not my actual morality and being lazy and uncreative. It's just about people seeing it. Like if I had a new crowd every night, I could do, my gay son blowjob joke, open with it for 4 years in a row. I might stop enjoying it, but it's mostly just seeing people see you do it, and you're like, this. I still have to go with this because I don't have enough new stuff. That's what's embarrassing. I've definitely I'm like, well, this joke does well, but then like a comic who I respect comes in and watches it, and I'm like, oh, they just saw me do that, and it's like 2 years old.
Yeah. I've that was a big thing at the back door this because they closed down for a few months, and I was like, I don't want to do the same stuff. So Still did some of the same stuff.
We quit for like a fucking maybe 9 months. I don't know. Like the first 2 breaks were so long, and then I just came back with the same. I hadn't written anything. I don't know. It's impossible to write when you're not getting up, though.
Yeah,
For me.
I do better getting up more with my jokes. Like I can tag. I don't know why, but tags come a lot easier when in the moment, and I can reuse them. But just trying to think of a tag or to what is it to be able to. But the biggest thing I've been working on is trying to like call back jokes as a one-liner. I think it's kind of hard to do a whole set, especially one that goes from joke to different things, and then hit something that calls back to your very first joke. It's I haven't found the right recipe to the sauce yet on my
That
set.
shit almost seems like work.
Yeah.
Writing callbacks.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's supposed to be something fun, but as I said earlier, I just jump into shit so much. And I was so jealous of John Maddie when he started, because I always wanted to do comedy, and he didn't do good. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then I seen him not too long ago. I was like, this guy, like 2 years ago, I was like, he's fucking murdering. Like, he is killing.
I was like the opposite. Seeing people suck is what motivated me to go up, because I thought I could do better than them.
Yeah, that was, yeah. As far as the open mic, I started at the Bucket at Open. My first one was Bucket Night at the
Helium.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, because I didn't want to go up and be presented first time ever, blah blah blah. I was like, I didn't want that. And I was like, the Bucket mic, I knew I could get on, because I had signed up for Funny Bone in like 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And didn't get on. And back then they didn't have the online shit. You had to drive all the way there. You know, I'd get off from building the house at 5 o'clock, shower, shave, try to get to the Funny Bone, and then be like, not make the list. It's like, son of a bitch. Then I found out you're supposed to put down that you're a first timer. But by then I was like, I'm going to the Bucket mic. I'm doing it. And then my wife found out, and she came, and John and them showed up, which was cool, because I think I definitely did better than John Maddie's first open mic. I watch. Do you record any of your shit?
All audio.
Yeah.
I'd probably I don't know, hate watching myself if I did record myself. I mean, I have some videos.
Yeah.
There's one old one on fucking YouTube.
Yeah, I just put one up that I got from the back door this Thursday. It was a killer set. Great. Last from beginning to end. I was like, I can actually use this finally. Like, I could send that one, because like I said, John's trying to do a week on the road, and I would love to do that, but I've only been doing it for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And, I'm not expecting to get much booked doing it. And I haven't put in the time at the actual clubs either. Like you're at the Funny Bone all the time, putting in
Box office hours.
Yeah. You're always there. And who's the other? Elliot's always there. Does he work there too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronaldo, Quentin.
Did you mean work as a host? Because Elliot's just a tour guy.
Yeah, just working there. You guys are always there.
Yeah, Elliot. Well, a door guy gets to see more comedy than I do. I actually can't watch. I'm the person who can't go watch the show. Yeah, I don't.
So y'all don't shut down the box office?
Half an hour after the late show starts, I could, shut down the box office and start watching.
Oh, okay.
So, I could still watch most of the late show, but.
So, but you still work with Scott James, Sean O'Brien, isn't it Sean, right? The bartender?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys, some of the best advice these comedians have come on here with are from those guys. You get to hang out with some pretty decent mentors as far as if you wrote more. If you weren't lazy, you could probably bounce a lot of shit off of them.
I wouldn't do that, though. That's what Elliot does. He fucking constantly just comes in and he's like, so I was thinking about if, there's a gay squirrel or whatever. I don't know. You don't want to be that guy who's just running jokes off everyone. Sean gets really annoyed.
Brian being like, why does he fucking ask my advice if he's not going to fucking do it? He goes up on the stage and does what he wants anyway.
Dude, he fucking asks Sean to watch his set and then does the year-old material. It's such a douchey thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. If you've seen it, that is one thing me and Ronaldo talked about when he was on here. As it's like if you're gonna do like especially open mics, if you could make the list, you should be trying something new.
Yeah.
Not wasting everybody's time. If you're just gonna do the same thing, the same beaten path that you've been doing for a year, you're wasting everybody's time. Especially at the Funny Bone. What are you guys getting? Like 80 fucking people signing up a week now?
I don't know.
It's
A lot.
I haven't even tried the past few weeks because there's so many. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it over some of these. They have
It's not that bad. I mean, we got 2 open mics most weeks. I don't know. I briefly ran wrote the list before I was able to pawn it back off onto Scott.
I remember that right at the beginning of the COVID thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we switched it to online, I think I ran it once or twice.
Well, that's awesome because I hated driving there to find out you didn't make the list.
Yeah, apparently we did that like maybe 10 years ago. It was online again, but
Fuck yeah.
you know.
Yeah, well, you guys are the only privately owned Funny Bone too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know I went to the one in Virginia Beach where I'm from, my family and everything's from, and I lived a long time. Went there, and that's still corporate. There's a lot of shut down, haven't they?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I couldn't even name a different Funny Bone, but I do know that it's all a chain except for the St. Louis Funny
Oh
Bone.
yeah, so that's pretty cool. The whole private, you get to keep the name. So you guys get.
Yeah, I don't know in what order that happened. If it used to be part of a chain and broke off.
Yeah.
I just know Gerald started it. Apparently, he brought comedy to the Midwest. There's no comedy
No.
at all before him.
Wow. Nothing. Yeah, I'm getting ready to fix that. That's my.
Oh, is that?
Oh my God, that's just this thing I've got outdoors. Living in your own home. Every time it rains, this thing's short.
Huh. Should pee.
Yeah. So, anytime it rains, I guess there's a leak or something that I've got to try to figure out that gets this wire gets moist, so it sets the septic alarm off. Oh yeah, when I first heard it, I was pissed because I thought my septic was like overflowing or something serious was happening. So I had to become like a plumber and go on YouTube and spend like a whole day watching YouTube videos about it. Then finally, my brother-in-law, which understands all this shit, fucking put his little electrical shit to it and let me know that it was just a short wire. So since you've been around so many pretty decent comics, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten from them? I give that question to all the comedians. You ever talk to any of them? Try to get any knowledge from them? Or when Elliot's doing it? Do you ever take what they're telling him and is like, that's actually pretty decent?
Yeah, I think most people stop asking for advice at some point a couple of years in. I don't know. Sometimes people like Greg Warren, they'll give advice when it's very natural. It's just relevant because I just went up and did something wrong. I don't know.
Greg is great. I had him booked for one of my shows before COVID happened at the Bobby's place where Funny Bone in Valley Park used to be, that little bar right there. But that got shut down. So, but Greg was really cool with signing up for it. So, but
Haven't seen Greg since we shut down the last time. Like when we opened up, I guess we've had 3 shutdowns. I don't know. But for a while, we were having a lot of local showcases, and Greg was running them. But I haven't seen him since we opened back up
yeah,
again.
because you guys had Greg and Nikki, and do you guys ever get any? Did the Tory brothers ever come in? Because I know they were.
Guy Torrey's been here.
Yeah.
Who was the other one?
Joe
Torrey.
Joe and Guy Torrey. I grew up watching them in movies and stuff, and when I found out they were St. Louis locals, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know Guy Torrey's been here several times. Joe Torrey, I don't even know if I don't know if he's been here.
Well, yeah, I've reached out to them. They're both St. Louis locals, and I just haven't seen them at the Funny Bone very recently, anytime soon. The past since I've been getting into comedy.
I think they'd only. I mean, I don't think they live here. Whereas like Nikki and Greg, either live here or have parents here.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Tories would probably never stop by for the open mic.
Right.
It'd probably only be when they were headlining.
Who does all the booking?
The manager, Matt.
Matt, the guy that was on Ronaldo's podcast not too long ago.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Matt was on Ronaldo's podcast.
I think it's like his 3rd or 4th episode.
I want to check that out. I'd like to see him. I know Matt and Sean used to have a podcast. And they had like fucking they had like Norm Macdonald on, and they had Jeselnik on. I'm like, I want to listen to the Jeselnik podcast.
Yeah,
but you can't fucking find it except for one clip of the Norm Macdonald podcast, and like everyone was hammered. I'm like, this is
they're in the best position to run a podcast. I reach out to the guys that get booked for the Funny Bone and the guys at the Helium, and the only ones that have reached out are like the Jeff Dye guy, which will probably be one of the bigger ones, and one of the chicks did before it got shut down from COVID. So now I haven't spoken with them since, which is really weird trying to get a hold of some of these people because you don't know if you're actually talking to them or just some fan page or whatever. So I don't know. You can definitely tell which ones are the cool ones because you can see which ones read it and respond. They're like, no, I'm good, or that right there tells you that they're busy and they're cool. Or the ones that read it and are just like, oh, fuck off. No money. I ain't worried about it. But then again, somebody asking you to come out into St. Louis to their podcast. I don't want to be in St. Louis as long as I have to be.
Yeah.
This isn't a big, great place for comedy from what I'm gathering as far as the comedians. Like I watched, Brendan Schwab and his buddy were talking mad shit on having to come here.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Just that the comedy scene's not good as far as packing the house.
Yeah, but that was Brendan Schaub. I mean.
True. And who is what's the other one that he has? He used to. I think the guy got sex allegations or something.
Chris D'Elia?
Nah, not D'Elia. The other
Brian Callen?
Brian Callen, yeah.
It's funny. Like, who's the comic with the sex allegations? I just run through 10. You're like, no, not that one.
Yeah, there is a lot. Chris D'Elia. I think I seen him not too long ago. My podcast, I follow a couple different podcasts on YouTube, and I seen him, a video of him. I was like, oh shit, is he trying to make his comeback?
I mean, it kind of died down, or at least I stopped paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any proof that he knowingly was trying to have sex with underage girls.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, before R. Kelly and everything else, he got hit with the first one, the underage one, the girl that he met at the club, meets at a 21 and up club. It's like, how the fuck are you supposed to know some of these girls? Because I can go through my high school fucking yearbook and tell you right now, a lot of them don't look 18, 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I would think I would know a 15-year-old, though. Some of these guys that are, they're like, it's a little young. You could have went through their fucking Facebook page and seen the Hello Kitty shit and realized that it's a little young. But,
dude, Nathan was talking to me about it, like when he was with his ex-girlfriend, like going through her Facebook page and jerking off to her photos. But he was going back in time and he realized that when he came, she was under 18. He was going back through the photos.
Is that a bit he does?
It should be.
It should be.
It's
'Cause
hilarious.
That's fucking hilarious. Somebody's gonna take that now. Somebody. That is. Yeah. So how long have you actually been doing it? You said you've been.
Dude,
doing
I think 6 years in March.
6 years.
I started right after my 20th birthday. And I had to sneak in like alcohol into Crow's Nest to calm my nerves for like a year before I turned 21. Yeah, fucking 6 years.
So was the Crow's Nest? Where was your first one?
Crow's Nest.
Crow's Nest.
Which is dumb. I mean,
That was
there's-
Chris Sear and
Sear and JC ran it. Then they pawned it off to other people at some point.
Yeah, I think Betty was doing it for a little while.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's like a weekly host. But yeah, there's at least a benefit of no one was paying attention. Like some people go up at the Funny Bone for the first time, and I don't get that.
I didn't. I still haven't gone up to the Improv because I heard like it's like get to the Helium, Funny Bone, Improv.
Improv?
Don't we have an Improv in St. Louis?
No, there's an improv shop, but it
Yeah.
would probably be ranked below the Funny Bone and Helium in terms of importance.
Wow.
It's just a local. It's not a comedy club place. It's they do improv, and they also have stand-up shows there.
Oh, okay. Well,
In the smaller room.
yeah, that shows you how much. I've just stuck with the Funny Bone and Helium as far as clubs, like the Improv Shop or whatever. It's
Well, and Helium hasn't had their open mic in like a year, right?
yeah, no, they haven't done anything. So, which I wonder why. Was it not making? I wonder. I know I was drinking and tipping, so and
Dude, drinks are expensive there.
They are. That's one thing I like about the back door. It's like $3 beers. If you trying to get fucked up and doing set, that's the place to do it.
It's not bad. Although at the Funny Bone, I get a lot of perks. So it's hard to compete with that.
Yeah, it's just so far I don't drink too much. I'm the type that when I drink, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
But I always make sure to give a 5, because I just feel like he drug his ass in here to open the bar up for an open mic when we haven't had the greatest crowds the past few months. That's the big reason I haven't gone to the Funny Bone. Nothing against the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
It's just I go to that Word Up. Yeah, it's $5, but I've literally been there multiple times where they couldn't let nobody else in. They're like, I'm sorry, we're at capacity and shit, and it's just full.
We've had some good open mics recently. We've had like 30 tickets sold for like.
That's a good. Yeah.
For an open mic, no one ever needs to buy tickets before the show. It's just not a thing that sells out. But we had some crazy. It must have been some first timers. We've had a bunch of big open mics. Capacity opened up again a little bit, and we've sold out at that new capacity a few times.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is apparently the good season for comedy.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was a good season and a bad season.
This is the good season.
Well, basking. Well, it's got to be with everything opening back up. I mean,
Yeah.
I've reached out.
Well, just every year it happens around like this time. Like, apparently, like before the shutdown, it was like our best year yet. Like we were, doing more than we usually were. So it seems like things were turning up right before coronavirus. But yeah, this is the busy season, and then when the weather gets good, it can drop off more.
Yeah. I've thought about that's something Nelson was talking to me about, wanting to do shows out here for me to build a stage, because I built a portable stage, as it's called, basically. They're
A pallet.
no.
I've done a lot of shows on pallets.
No, this is actually a stage that okay. This is like one of my very, very first pieces with the Etsy shop, but you see how like this, it's just 2 pieces of wood that fit into each other, and it does sits like that.
Yeah.
I built a stage that's similar to that, and it's a 4x4, and then you can connect multiple, like as many as you want to it, so you can
Huh.
make it. And it's all stackable on itself. You just got to use 3/4 inch or inch plywood, and yeah, so you can literally unfold it, put it into it, and stack it on top of each other and put it into a car. Like, because Nelson's got a Nissan Versa or something that he needed it to be able to fit in. I was like, I can do that. It's knee high, it's 4x4, so. And if he wanted to add to it, he could put 2 or 3 more to it, and they'll, another piece of wood just latches on to them, and it makes it. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm good at. Anything with wood. That's what I told the people at the Legacy Bar and Club, because I offered to build them a stage for free once I get enough saved up leftover lumber. I was like, I'll build it for free. They're like, well, we want to be able to move it. I was like, I'll put it on a fucking caster wheels to where you can just pick it up and wheel it away whenever you want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've done a show in the duck room at Blueberry Hill. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, I got kicked out of the duck room.
Really? Why?
I was at a reggae concert. Actually, that chick right up there, Hyrie, with my wife and sisters, one of their favorites. So I was there and I was hitting my little dab pen, and coolest way I've ever got kicked out of a place for weed is he's like, look, man, eventually we're gonna win this battle, but right now it's not worth my job. I've got to get you out of here. I was like, all right, it's cool. I just walked around. It was a nice night. I walked around while everybody else enjoyed the show.
Actually, I think the duck room is the bigger room. But one time I did a comedy contest in one of the other basement rooms. And we stood on pallets that weren't even that tall, but my head went between the rafters. If you were a taller comedian,
Yeah.
you were like that.
Yeah,
It was kind of ridiculous.
You didn't do any of Mary Jane's scoreboard open mics, did you? During the yeah, she was doing one for a little while, and it was like that. Like you'd see the comedians that were really tall, like you, that were like hunched over, and it was only like a 8-inch stage, and it was in a basement too. It was like it was the, how do I say it without being, it was like a hidden kind of a nightclub, like, because you come into this place that's like a jazz
What's the term?
bar.
Like a speakeasy?
Yeah, like you go in there and it's just like a pop-up, because you come in and they've just got like a hallway, makeshift hallway built to where you follow, and then there's some stairs and you go down into a basement, and there's like 2 bars, a pool table, a little stage, and a few places to sit. And I don't think it's like on the books. Like, I don't think you're finding it in the yellow pages anywhere.
Yeah.
Because up top there is like an actual, looks like more of like a jazz lounge kind of bar, real nice looking. I was like, why are we up there performing? We're down here, and they've got like bathrooms that are like makeshifted with like pallet walls. It was a great room though, like real small, but it was a pretty good room, until it got oversaturated with white people. That's what I think shut it down, in all honesty. They were like, look, too many white people here at 11, 12 o'clock at night down here, and it was a rougher spot, rougher area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ferguson? No, that's Ophir. I think this one, Florissant, one of those areas where all the blinking red lights at the stoplights are.
Huh.
Yeah, do you know that part of the city?
No.
No? Yeah, well, you get to this part of the city, and it's like there's these blinking red and blue lights at the stop sign.
Oh, I've
stoplight.
seen those. Always in bad areas.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are.
Yeah, me neither. I had tried to do a bit once off the cuff. I was like, whose idea was this? I pulled over for 20 minutes. I ate a fucking ounce of weed and shoved a ball of blow up my ass.
Dude, I fucking drove from San Diego without a license,
Holy shit.
drinking most of the time. I panicked once or twice when I thought, like, just saw flashing lights of some kind in the rear view. But yeah, I haven't had my driver's license in like 10 months probably.
Holy shit. I did.
Yeah, it's stressful.
It is. I went.
Must be what being black feels like. every time I get pulled over.
Yeah, you're like, shit, is he gonna let me go? And then you're like, oh, I got white
And
privilege.
honestly, dude, I kind of
You hand them your suspended license.
I
with
don't
your
know
white
if
privilege
cops are
card.
necessarily racist. I mean, I'm sure to some degree there is, but I think black cops are just a lot better. Like, I'm white, but my experience with black cops, it's a small sample size, but it's so much better. Like, I've liked all the black cops I've met, and all the assholes I've met have been white cops. I don't know.
The peak of George Floyd shit, me and my wife, and COVID, me and my wife took a road trip down to Virginia to see my pops and my sister and everything, and we got pulled over by two black cops, and I know the car reeked of weed. It's like my old lady's in the back passed out, and I'm like smoking a joint, driving through. It's like 1 a.m. Get pulled over, two black cops. And they asked me if I knew the speed limit. I was like, I thought it was 55. I know I was doing about 64 is what I had my cruise control set. It's like, it was 55, and then it switched to 45. And I was like, shit. I was like, so I was going pretty fast. And they ran my shit, came back, and they're like, hey, man, just slow it down. They've seen I never had any other, I don't have any points. Never done anything like no wrecks, nothing on my license.
Yeah.
But before that, I had gotten a weed charge in Virginia Beach on the Strip, and they had messed up sending the paperwork over from the court to the DMV, because down there, anytime you get busted with something like that, your license is attached to it, and they can suspend it. Well, they had it labeled that the DMV's got it that I never paid off this weed fine that I got. The court system does have it. So that didn't get fixed until my wife fixed it when I was like 26, and that was when I was 18. So I drove without a license for a long time.
Yeah, I have some, I don't even know what it is. I've called so many numbers, gone to courthouses. I think it's some ticket I forgot to pay. And now I have something which, I mean, my license is still valid. It's not suspended because I've been pulled over. But I lost my license, and then I'm not allowed to get a copy of it now because of this dumb shit I have. And I'm just too lazy.
Yeah, lazy is a big part of your life, huh?
Yes.
I hope you make it in comedy. Because as a contractor, taking over the parents' business.
I find physical stuff, I'm not lazy at all when it comes to physical stuff. But like mental stuff is just tax any fucking adult stuff.
That's why I got married.
It's
Believe
just
me,
fucking
I understand.
sucks.
Yeah. Does Jane and Al take care of all the? Or do you guys
Bills?
live together?
Yeah, we live together.
Yeah. Me and my wife. That's pretty much. Here's my check. Like, I ask when we get there's all these stimuluses. I didn't know that we were getting them. And she's like, oh yeah, we paid all that off with the stimulus check. We got stimulus check? Like, I didn't know if we were approved for it or not. Why not? Because we're white. Like, I thought. We both do make decent money. I think we just made the cut as far as I thought it was. They were like a married household. I think at $75,000, but it was your individual pay at 75. I was like, whew. Like, because we're pushing 75, I think.
Yeah, it's like 100 or something for married.
So we're right there at the threshold. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should take off some time off of work. I'll just quit. I enjoyed the unemployment. I've never gotten that shit in my life. And when they shut everything down and they threw that extra 600 on top of the 300, shit.
It's ridiculous.
Hell yeah, especially me being me. I can't sit at home. I went and found me some work under the table. My buddy was moving rich people out of the houses for Trans World Air whatever. And that was like 200
Trans World Airlines.
Yeah,
that's a weird theme for an airline.
Or Atlas Trans or one of those trucking places. And it was like $250 a day for work. I put in 3-4 days a week, making an extra quick little grand, and then that $900 hit. But after they took that $600 away, I was like, I can't.
Well, they're down to 300.
Yeah,
and it's apparently I heard it was one of Biden's platforms that would go up to 400. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they definitely changed a lot.
It's still far more than I have ever made coronavirus has been a financial boon to me because I never, did shit. So it's easy. It's easy when you add $300 to $600 a week onto unemployment. It's easy for it to be far more than you ever made.
Yeah, no. After they dropped the 6 with me, it was like I'd see that, and I think it was maybe a $600 a week thing after they took the 600 and made it down to 3 or 4. I was like, yeah, I could work a full week, not have to deal with my wife, and for at least 8 hours a day, and still make close to $1,000. So I think I'm gonna do with that. And now I'm with a place that does like benefits and everything else, so it's really hard to not go to work. But I'm really not liking it after this fucking shutdown and everything. Having to go back to work, it's like, I don't know if I like this too much.
Yeah.
Especially with a bunch of racist homophobes, like daily. That's what I fucked up. They found out my dad was black and my other dad's gay, and it's like
It's such a weird sentence. Like,
yeah.
it's interesting, but I feel like
my mom
jokes about it would get boring after like a day.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, well, yeah, my dad and stepdad have great jokes. Anytime I try to hit them up, like, I'll ask them sometimes, like, is this crossing the line if is this too gay? Is this homophobic? And then my pops will punch it up to where it's like only a gay comedian can say that. And then my black dad is like, he punches shit up to where I can't. I'm like, I'm not going to say that. Like, I'm not, no.
That's such a funny, my black dad.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know?
Oh, it was really interesting when I was like fucking 7 years old, looked like Dennis the Menace, running around a store, and I'm like, Dad, and white people are looking at this 6'3" black guy that's as black as Wesley Snipes. It's like, that's not your kid. It's like, oh yeah, it is.
So when did that become your family? Like, I assume at some point you had a mom and then your dad married your other dad.
I think I was breakup sex because they were separated after, like right around the same time I was born in '89. They separated, and my mom had found my stepdad, and they were dating. So I was like maybe one when they decided.
So you have two stepdads. That's interesting.
No, I've got one. I've got my real dad, which is the white guy that I was, my biological father, the gay one, and then I've got my stepdad, which I can't remember. I'm like, I've known him as my stepdad my whole life.
Yeah.
So, and I've called him dad because.
So it was never weird to you at any point because that's what you were. You weren't like 10 and all of a sudden your dad's gay and dating a black man.
No, the weirdest point I think was when we moved from Virginia. My mom and stepdad moved from Virginia and we moved out here. We lived with my stepdad's sister for a little while until they got on their feet and bought their own place. And she was probably still is one of the type that was like looking at my mom like taking one of our good black men, kind of, like a white woman taking one of the good black
Wait
guys.
A second.
And so that was a little weird, but
I'm getting really confused. You had your parents and then they divorced or broke up, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then your black stepdad is the one dating your mom?
Yeah, my black stepdad is the one that married my mom.
Oh, I thought your black stepdad was like dating your dad or married to him.
No, my dad's dating a twink, I think is the proper word to call him. He's like my age.
Oh, that's interesting.
They were one of the first married couples, married men to gay couples to get married in North Carolina a couple of years back. So
yeah, when you said you had two stepdads and your biological dad was gay, and then you had a black stepdad. I was thinking
communication there. Yeah, just two dads. Well, I guess three. My dad is married to a guy my age that I'm not going to call my stepdad. He's cool as shit. Like me and him, we get along. We're cool as fuck. But
your stepdad's younger than you.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I don't. He's either. He might be younger than me. I know he's younger than my sister. My older sister is older than he is, but me and him are around the same age. It's a hard thing for my real dad to come out of the closet to me because all my friends and me would make gay jokes or be like, "That's gay, you fucking fag," and do that shit as teenagers do.
Or as a 26-year-old.
No, he came out when I was like 19 or 20. which when he divorced my stepmom. So there's still some straightness in him. He had 2 kids, 3 kids, and married 2 women at one point in time. So my mom and stepmom are just fucking nuts and drove him to it, you know.
Yeah.
Have you ever dated one of those chicks? It's just like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, I don't want nothing to do with women after you. You have fucking ruined me. That's kind of how my mom was.
I've considered sometimes I'm like, if, me and my current girlfriend break up, just not gonna date for a while. Like, just at some points, I'm like, I'd be fine never having sex ever again. I just, just gonna hang out with dudes.
You've cracked it. That's what I said to Pat Ryan, because he's asexual.
Yeah.
And I was like, explain that to me. And basically they just don't have a sexual interest in any, girls or guys. So
Yeah.
I was like, so you've cracked it. You've hacked the fucking. I was like, because my dick is what's gotten me in trouble my whole life. Like, always been the thing that's gotten me into trouble. Whether it was because I was doing something to impress a chick, make money to afford some chick, like, it's always what's got me in trouble. So,
Dude, this is the downside of drinking beer. I have to go pee again.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
oh, you're good, man. That's what's the best thing about editing.
Kind of wanted to stay on mic. Just keep it going.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't noticed, my editing isn't all that great. I'm like, how many times did he go pee? Once. We'll find it.
Yeah, you gotta watch all this, don't you? Maybe.
Yeah, I watch. I've learned my lesson on not watching it.
Oh yeah, you gotta hate yourself if you watch it. But...
Yeah, like you said, you don't like watching yourself or recording yourself and seeing it.
Dude, it takes you so long before you don't fucking hate yourself.
Yeah, I've got one video of me doing open mic that is I just killed it, and I'll watch that one every now and again.
Dude, I have so many sets. Like, I have a handful of sets I watch whenever I'm down. It's so pathetic. It's like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, I still try to record every set. I just had to buy a new memory card to be able to get so much data off my phone.
If I always had all the drinks I've drank in front of me like this, I'd probably drink less. Like, if you just...
Yeah, we used to do it like when I was a big beach bum and lived in a tent on the beach. I always hung out at my buddy's place, him and his girlfriend, and we would he was the type that would crush a fucking 32 pack or whatever, no problems. Like, as long as he didn't put liquor in front of him, he could sustain. Like, he would just get so drunk off beer that it was just like he couldn't get no drunker. But he was such a functioning alcoholic. I was like, but if you put some Jaeger in him, watch out. Like, watch out.
Dude, beer is so... It's just like, yeah, I've had 5 drinks. I guess I also had a coffee. And you just have to pee constantly. Like, I don't know why. Like I said, I was drinking beer and coffee on the way back from San Diego. Just driving, like, through the night straight. And I had to pull over way too many times. Just had too many,
Makes you want to have one of those catheter things that you can just...
that'd be so nice.
Yeah, I've done some driving. I delivered seafood to Chapel Hill from the Outer Banks, which was like a 5-hour drive there. And then I'd have to do my 5-hour route to all the restaurants and then drive 5 hours back. And I was like, fuck, you get those last two, and you don't want to stop.
Yeah.
You
You
just-
get like a wide mouth Gatorade bottle.
yeah, yeah, with a nice. They need to make something. I think we could come up with something.
Dude, yeah, I've gone through times in my life where I just have a bottle of pee rolling around in my car. Too lazy to.
Oh wow! Yeah. I cleaned out my stepbrother when my mom and dad got divorced. My stepbrother had moved out way before then, but we finally cleaned up his room. It was a disaster, and we start cleaning it up, and we find 2 liters of piss, and it's like he's literally you walk out of his bedroom door, and 3 feet away is a bathroom with a toilet, and it's like, really?
See, I lived in my parents' basement before they like kicked me out of the basement, put me back up next to because they didn't trust me. I was like a 20-year-old. I don't know, doing drugs and drinking in the basement. But yeah, I would have to go upstairs to go to the bathroom. So I just went through a period where I was just peeing in water bottles because you can't go back to sleep if you have to traverse an entire house
Yeah.
and turn the lights on in the bathroom. But if you just roll over, pee into a water bottle, put the lid on.
Oh, you had it down, huh? He's like professional.
Oh, that's great. If you can like be in a half sleeping state and just pee, just get the tip of your penis into a water bottle and then pee without, I don't know, while still being in that state, and then you just get to go back to sleep immediately. It's all awesome.
Yeah, then you can hold the pee and it's warm. It's like a, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what we used to. That's what we do when we surf. If the water's cold, and you got your wetsuit on. It's hard not to pee when you jump in a cold ocean. You know, you piss in your suit, you pull the neck and let that cold water in, and as soon as that shit hits you, you piss, and it kind of brings it up to body temperature. So yeah.
Wait, so do you keep water inside of your suit?
Yeah, wetsuit is you get in the water and it fills up with water pretty much, and the water, your body temperature brings it up to that temperature.
But why does there need to be water? Is that just
That's
accidental, or is that intentional to have water between your suit and yourself?
It's intentional. That's for a wetsuit. That's just because it's a lighter, more. You have better movability with. They can do a smaller mill depending on the temperatures of the water. A dry suit is a lot. It's a lot stiffer. It's a lot harder to move around to where a dry suit is just where it blocks everything.
It's not beneficial to keep the water. It's not beneficial to let water inside the suit. It's just to keep it out. It would have to be really thick.
Yes,
Is that correct?
Well, it has to be really tight and thick, and it repel water. The neoprene that they use for wetsuits, once you let it in, it doesn't let it out so much because it keeps, but it stays wet. Like the suit stays wet on the outside. But you'll see guys, like it gets hot. Your body temperature warms it up really quick. You'll see guys like if you ever watch like a surf video or surf competition, you see guys like doing this with their shit, and they're just letting cold water back in because they're so overheated.
Ugh.
And dry suits, now you're so hot because you don't the water may be fucking 30 something degrees, but your body is just.
You're doing Celsius?
30, well 40s. You get in there when it's 40. I've surfed 50-degree fucking water before in the winter, December temperatures. It's when our good
So
waves
I assume at some point you stop wearing suits, right? The only reason
yeah.
you have to wear a suit is because it's too cold to go with it.
Yeah. Then summertime, yeah. Like, or you're in Hawaii or Indo, different places like that. You don't need a suit because the water's so warm. The most you're gonna see is these guys wearing real elastic-looking shirts. They're called rash guards. It's basically to keep your shit from getting rashed up because if you're not professional, you usually are dragging your fucking shit out of a surf bag, your board out of a surf bag, you're putting wax on it, sand's getting all in it, and then the whole time you're on there, the sticky wax is like, just, it rubs you, like you get these hamburger nipples, as I always called them, because you feel like raw. Everything's raw. The tip of your dick, it's, when you first get back into it, anytime I go to surf now, I have to deal with these things, but if you surf all year round, you don't deal with it, but
Huh.
It's definitely, it's just, I guess, like riding a dirt bike. You're gonna get fucking chafed after, when you first get into it. Comedy, I can't say you're gonna get chafed doing anything. I mean, you might if you're one of those nervous sweaters. Um, I've had a few sets to where you show up and it's like, I did one competition a few weeks ago and there was like 160 people. I was like, holy shit.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Tim Loss is Centralia or
Yeah.
something like that. It was a big room, and because I'd done a show there when there was only like 30 people, in that big of a room, it's really. you-
I've done some Tim Loss shows. I remember one. I think we had wireless mics. The main mic didn't work or it broke, and then we went to a second one, and that one broke. And then we had these casino machines, like slot machines, going off, just making noises in the middle of the set.
well, that sounds. That sounds like the back door had one of those actually going, one of the coin pusher machines,
Yeah.
I think, or a jukebox. Yeah, the place he's got now is pretty legit though. It's like a barbecue barn kind of thing. And it's on one section is the restaurant and everything, and then there's like this back little room, and it's like a conference hall almost with the stage. I think it's where they keep the bull because there is a mechanical bull that's off in the side during the comedy shows. So, but it's if you ever he's been doing great with those shows. So if he ever hits you up for those are worth the hour long, 2 hour long drive. Or
I
whatever.
don't know what happened, but I know we were Facebook friends at some point, and then as of a year or two ago, we're no longer Facebook friends. I don't know. I don't know if something happened.
He said he fell off. He went. He said he was doing it for a long time and really putting on shows and stuff, and then he had some falling out with a bunch of people and kind of went crazy or just kind of lost it a little bit. And I guess he's been trying to trying to fix and mend those whatever relationships that I guess there's a couple people that when he left the last time he had bad words with or I don't know nothing about it.
It's
See,
either so long ago or who knows. I might have just been like blackout drunk for 2 months at a time whenever any drama happened. All I remember is like another comic who went to the Funny Bone a lot was like ostracized maybe 2 years ago for
stealing jokes.
no texting women in the scene inappropriately, and one of them was Tim Loss's wife.
And he just fucking flipped shit.
Yeah. I think Tim was the one who made a public post about it on Facebook and just like talked about it. It's like, hey, you're messaging my wife asking what color her underwear is or whatever. And then there's all this stuff. And that's the only thing that fucking instigated. Like, this guy doesn't do stand up anymore.
Yeah, I've heard a couple different things, but yeah, as far as somebody said something about payment, and I was like, he's always paid me, even when I tell him to keep the pay. He tries to make sure he gives me money, and I'm not worried about him hitting up my wife, or my wife isn't in the scene like that. So
Well, no, that was a different guy who was doing that, but he did it to Tim Loss's wife.
okay, yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't do comedy. My wife will have a field day with him, but my wife's not handing out his number. Why did he have her number? Why did the other comedian have Tim Loss's number, wife's number?
Oh, it was all on Facebook.
Oh, she has Facebook. I don't go through my wife's shit. She could be. I don't care. She knows. I always tell her when she goes out with her friends, wear a condom. Like, just wear a condom. Don't bring me back nothing. I'm not gonna bring you back nothing. I'm pretty liberal in my ways when it comes to relationship. She doesn't like it too much. She thinks it's really mean, I guess. It's an asshole thing to say to your wife, but I'm being serious. Just wear a condom. I'm sure you're going to find somebody that looks a lot better than me that's slinging something a lot better than me. Get on it. we've been together how many years? Yeah, whatever. At this point, we have a house, we have our life together. As long as she's not falling in love with anybody else, I don't care. You know, don't bring them to my house. Don't put it in my face. I really don't give a shit.
Huh.
Let me do what I do. You do what you do. We have our respect and our boundaries, I feel. And I would never bring a chick back here. She would never bring a dude back here.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's talking to any other dudes. See, that's the thing. That's why I don't go through Facebook. I didn't even have Facebook until Backdoor required it for you to sign up for their open mics.
Yeah.
I thought that was stupid. Because I had gone years without social media because it just makes you pissed off, like, most of the time. There for a while. And then you're, like, commenting on your grandma's status. Like, what kind of dumb bitch are you? It's like, oh, sorry, grandma. So, yeah, I realized years ago, I was like, this probably isn't the best thing to have. People's opinions, like Twitter. It's not best for me to give my opinion out. I'm not going to make it very far in comedy if I'm updating my opinion on everything that I see, whether it's social media or locally. Definitely if I've spoken locally about things that I've seen or don't like or think is bullshit or don't understand only half the story, and I'm like drunk, so it's like, oh yeah, well that's fucking, how many people I would relationships I would have ruined. That's why I kind of have the podcast too. There's been a couple people that I disagreed with, and I've had them on, and we've had that conversation. Like Jason Dormeyer's old lady thinks I was appropriating culture with my dreads.
Ow.
It's like, well, it's my culture. After you find out that I was raised in a black family and I'm a surfer hippie, that's a dime a dozen. What culture am I stealing?
But don't you, correct me if I'm wrong, don't you get dreads just by doing nothing for a long enough time period?
Yeah, that was the big thing. Is I told her, I was like, I surfed. I was legit into surfing like I am into comedy. I didn't compete. I just did it more as a soul surfer, not a competitive surfer. But it was like in the morning, I woke up extra early when the sun came up because that's when low tide was. I'd go out and surf. Low tide is when the best waves are. So I'd go out and surf. And then right after I get done surfing, usually I'd have to go to work doing construction. And you got little outdoor public showers, and you rinse off, throw your regular clothes on, go work. Lunchtime, high tide maybe going out, low tide maybe coming in, go out and surf some. If I would have brushed my hair every time, and salt water makes your hair super nappy and everything. I don't know how often you swim in the beach, but it dries it out. It makes it real fucking nappy in a way. And if I would have brushed my hair every time after surfing, I'd be bald because of I just would how thin my hair is and everything. So a lot of me and my friends would let it go. And yeah, pretty much. I keep my shit clean because what I do, I'm always around sawdust and stuff. So I usually got these things that they're tied up in and put away.
I didn't even notice that. You kind of look like something from Star Wars, maybe, where they have like the head tentacles.
Yeah. So I tie up my shit in there because I'm around so much sawdust and concrete and all that bullshit on a construction site. But yeah, pretty much from just not brushing my hair, they'll eventually get into that.
So if you're lazy enough,
Yes.
you'll be appropriating black culture.
Yeah, well, that's what I first thing I broke down to her. I was like, you do realize the whole point of hair and why everyone, no matter what color, race, creed, religion, hair
Even
dreads up. Everybody's. It's like scientifically the most important organ on your body is your brain. Controls everything, the temperature, your heart rate, everything it controls. And that was the best self-defense mechanism to protect the brain. Just like we have the rib cage to protect the main organs in your chest and in your, the rib cage is very hard to get through to puncture your lungs or your heart. Same thing with dreads. And yeah, I've put that shit to the test. I've been hitting the head with fucking hammers and boards and all kinds of shit. And if it wasn't for my hair, I'd probably have had the one time with the hammer by Todd, fucking asshole. He didn't mean to. He just had gloves on. It was winter time, and he swung and he hit a truss, and it just threw his swing off right in the back of the head. I saw stars. But luckily, it hit me like I had my hair all up, so it had a bunch of padding. And but yeah, that's what I explained to her. I was like, that's naturally why we all have had dreads. Our ancestors. It was just a self-defense mechanism
Yeah.
to help keep us warm and to help keep it safe.
But even if none of that was true, I don't. I mean, I'm not very woke or PC, I feel like, but yeah, I just can't find myself giving a shit about any hairstyle that, it doesn't belong. I don't know. Same with like, I wouldn't get mad at like a white guy for rapping, or I just,
Yeah,
I can't find myself giving a shit about a white guy having a haircut, having cornrows.
which
I
is
might think it's
that.
ridiculous.
I had them in like middle school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was something I point out all the time to people that bring up the racing. I was like, if somebody that's racist can come to me and give me one shred of evidence or factual based information of why there's a good reason for racism to exist, I'll try to look at it from their point of view. But through the history of man, there's never been one piece of evidence of information, anything that's been presented that's legit enough to try to judge another person by their race.
Yeah.
I seen it a lot growing up, and it was just like I didn't understand it for the longest time. There's a lot of people, the patriots, those people that are all about America. I'm very. They asked me my opinion or view on it. We were built off of two genocides, working on the third one. The
What was
natives,
the third?
the Middle East. We've stayed in the Middle
Huh.
East bombing. Right now, what is it? Biden just dropped a shit ton of bombs on Syria. Before that, Trump was doing it to Yemen. Before that, it was fucking Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran. Just the constant. I mean, the amount of deaths that we've had is what America's built off of. We come in, we steal shit. It's if when I was a kid, I thought we were the firemen, the guys that stopped the bully. Once I really started paying attention, I was like, oh, we're the bully. Like we're the
Dude, more veterans, more like soldiers today. More of them die by suicide, I believe, than actual in the war. And I think that's a sign of our guilt. Like,
that's something
yeah, maybe you should. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, I asked my brother that. Well, my best friend growing up didn't have the best of childhood, so my parents adopted him. My mom and stepdad adopted him, and I shared my room with him. So we basically became brothers. Well, he went his senior year. He joined the army. He went and did this was back in 2008. So he was over there in Afghanistan and Iraq doing tours over there. And I asked him today, I was like, if the situation, now that he's had a son, I was like, and the Washington Post has released the Afghan papers, which is basically just all the collected data and information of the Afghanistan and Iran war, basically saying that it was useless. There was no reason we were there. Even the generals, the corporals kept asking. They have quotes from them. Who is the enemy? Why are we here?
There's like, who are we supposed? I'm just shooting at people. I don't.
Yeah. So after reading that, and that is one of the big things, is like you see it, and that's why I've always said that they try to get people at such a young age is to manipulate them into. They really think they're over there, creating a democracy at a dictatorship level. They thought Saddam Hussein was some horrible dictator and was being compared to Hitler.
He wasn't. I literally don't know. I thought he was
a CIA operative. He was trained and was an agent for the CIA to overthrow the Iraq and Iran the governments, basically. I forget which one exactly it was, but he was. We do this thing now to where we get rebels. The rebel, same thing with Venezuela, Syria, Libya, all of them. If we don't like in the way their government that they have established, which is usually a democracy, is based off of the American democracy way, the 21st century. If we think there's something there that's going to benefit us, mainly the past, it's been oil and opiates for the pharmaceutical industry. we go over there and we hired the rebels, which ours would be Antifa or the people that sieged the Capitol. Just think if another country came over and gave all those people the weapons and the means that they needed to be able to actually do something and overthrow our government. That's what we do. And we go over there and we hire and we have all these guys and we give the rebels all the weapons that they need. It's all for plausible deniability. So America can be like, it wasn't us, but we trained them in schools here in America. We basically, and that's the way we conduct ourselves politically in the backstop. That's why I can't vote. If you're going to continue to support this kind of fucking terrorism that we're doing, I can't vote. I can't give you my vote. And that's all we do is we go over there, we get the terrorist groups of that country, we give them all the means that they need, the information, the knowledge, the training, and the weapons to go in there and overthrow the country. And then the people that were the rebels, we now make the terrorists that we're trying to fight in that country, because their country is in shambles. They're broken in between multiple different parties as far as who's the leader, like Venezuela. That's a democracy. The president there, Guaido or whatever, was democratically elected by the Venezuelan people. But we, as an American in our government, we won't recognize him as the leader that they voted in. They want this other guy that's willing to sell out the whole country for their oil, and that's why their economy is so bad, is because they base it all on oil and what the Americans consume of oil. Yeah. And all we do is hit them with sanctions if they don't go with our ways. So literally, the person that the Venezuelan people elected to be their president had to go and take sanction, safe haven in a whole nother country, because we basically were trying to find him and kill him. And same thing with like Julian Assange and that whole situation with the reporters, Edward Snowden, that have basically said, this is what's going on, this is how it's working, this is what's up. Now they're the criminals. They're the guys that are being, they want to expedite, they want to bring Julian Assange here, extradite him here for espionage. He's not even an American citizen. How can he be, how is it espionage? The only person that can be charged with espionage is the Bradley chick that got the trans person that basically leaked all the documents, that was working for the military at that time. So it's really hard to agree and to go off of what their whole political situation that they're doing. We are terrorists. Let's just be honest. Look at what we do everywhere. I don't think
I need to go pee and think about this for a second. All this new information.
Yeah, a lot of people would consider me that. Well, there's some people that are like, "Oh, he talks about conspiracies." I don't talk about conspiracies. I just like the stuff that's never in the media. It's just like this whole time we were preached and thought that we were over there looking for weapons of mass destruction. Oh well, it comes out that there was no such thing, and it was all a big lie. Same thing with and it's happened time and time with Korea War. The Vietnam War, we were lied to, said that we were attacked, and we weren't really attacked. It never happened. It was just a lie to get the American support behind the government to go in there and attack them. And I still don't know what the fuck those wars were for.
No one even remembers the Korean War.
Right.
I don't know shit about the Korean War. I think Ted Williams might have flown a plane in the Korean War. I don't know. He fought in two wars. I think it was World War II and then the Korean War.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you move out into the country and you really can't do anything but write comedy and watch fucking YouTube and the news. It's like, shit, this is what my life has come to. But now, I gotta pee now. I'm gonna take a break. I got chewed up too. I think this is the first time I've ever taken a leak on the podcast.
I'm rubbing off on you. I think I've had a pee for every beer I've drank. Oh. I should have brought the bottle of wine I have in my car in. Then I wouldn't have to pee constantly.
Dude, I get fucked up on wine. My wife introduced me to that shit a few years ago.
Introduced you to wine?
Yeah. Well, for the longest time, I was like, I tried it, but I only tried a dry wine. I didn't know they made like a sweet wine that you can chill. And that's the kind of, I like the white, sweet, well, kind of sweet, kind of dry wine. I didn't know nothing about that until a couple of years ago. And my wife introduced me to dessert wine, some cheap, sweet red.
Oh.
And I was like, this is just like juice. Fuck, I love juice. And
It's bad juice.
yeah.
I can't do sweet stuff. My first job was I was a janitor after I graduated from like 8th grade. I was a janitor at my grade school / church. They were connected. Oh. And so I just would just drink communion wine while I was on the job. And then eventually I was like, you know what? It's probably it's probably harder to tell if instead of like lowering the level of alcohol in one particular bottle, just to take one of the 9 jugs they have, I think that's less noticeable. So I just took a jug of shitty communion wine. Is that really low stuff? And yeah,
So you
great.
used to steal the communion wine.
Very religious. What can I
have
say?
some answering to do. Are you? Are you really religious?
No. Not anymore.
Someone that really shocked me, which I got into. I'm not religious as in today's religions, but I am interested in the historical facts of where religion came from.
Yeah.
And like the Quentin Wilbert, you know him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He actually has a degree in ancient religions.
Really?
Yes, of the Middle East ancient religions, which is where the first religions were from. And I really went down this long rabbit hole of the Sumerians, ancient Sumerian, and their whole thing. They're the first civilizations to create writing. They're the ones that created writing, and like they have their own religion. Well, you study their religion and you realize, oh, this is where all the other religions came from.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of information about that, but that's something I've always got into. I was like, it's got the same flood story. It's got all the same, Adam and Eve. Theirs was Atum and Enlil or something like that. But that's the sleeve that
I was hoping it would be Steve.
It was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. But the one of the sleeve that Quentin has is actual ancient artwork that they have recovered from the Sumerians. And I was like, I asked him about it one day, and he's like, "How the fuck do you know about what this is?" And
I'm sure he talks about that to a bunch of bored chicks.
I didn't know for the longest time, and then I had him on the podcast, and I was like, now, not many people our age know anything about this, but what the fuck, how do you know? And he explained that he went to college, and I didn't know that about him. And
dude, I know so little about Quentin. I just realized it. Yeah.
It's because his comedy, I think, is so...
hack.
He's a ranter. He is one that's got like the top views as far as short clips that I got on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've had to delete fucking comments. I didn't really, that taught me how harsh people can be online for shit they say. Like it's like, how do you? Now you're just being an asshole. You can't even come to that assumption with this video. He's just talking about what helped him in comedy.
What were they saying?
Just how one of them was like this guy's voice. They were talking like his voice, and then like how he was white something. There was some racist shit in there. I was like, wow. I guess that's right. You probably shouldn't really read the fucking comments on your shit.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the skin to be a YouTuber.
It was just the easiest platform for me to, because I've done the other podcast with my buddy Antonio, which he's the lead of Discrepancies. Pretty popular rock group. They've done like Warped
I
Tour.
trust you.
Yeah. It's and we did a podcast with John Maddie, him and John Maddie, and another guy that runs the lights at Pops, Rob. And I realized it's without I don't even want to watch it without video. I hate watching myself, but like the whole video thing, even with Joe Rogan shit, I don't want to listen to his unless I can watch the video. And I don't even know why. It's just two people talking. So that's the YouTube was the easiest way for me to put the podcast together after I figured out this audio shit with the interfaces, because I went through like 2 or 3. I sold the last one that I didn't know how to use to Randy Cash. Hopefully he's smarter than me with it, because shit's difficult. I'm not the best with computers at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm computer illiterate, so all this shit has taken me forever to figure out, as far as how to edit, how to like sit here and keep the gain controlled, so I don't have to go into the post and after this and yeah, I watch it, but I speed it up to like times 2 or 3 to where it just runs through shit that I, until I come up to something that I'm like, oh, we don't need that out in there. There was one where I forget who it was. Who was it? Somebody that's pretty familiar with the funny bone that's up there quite often. I forget. It was more recent. I don't know. But we talked about the whole Max Price and Gary Becker situation. And I was like, let's not just add fuel to the flame. I was like, it's died down, and they're handling it the best they can, I guess.
I don't really know what happened.
I don't either, and that's why I was like, it's probably not best. We don't even know the whole situation. We'll just cut that from there. I hope they figure their shit out, because they were like, anytime I usually saw Max, Gary was right there with them, or vice versa. So you hate to see two friends fucking on the outs like that, especially at our age. You don't really come across too many friends that you can, call friends anymore.
Yeah, there's only enough room in this town for one comedian with face tattoos.
I think that was a couple of the comments made on there. And then somebody else was talking, and they were like, yeah, the comedian with blonde dreads. I was like, whoa. The mohawk blonde dreads and the face tattoos. Let's clear that up, because I have no issues with anyone. I try not to. I mean, I sometimes am a moron and run my mouth. Who doesn't? I've called out some shit that I probably shouldn't have, not knowing the whole, the whole situation. Like I called out the funny bone once with not letting me, like not telling me like, hey, you need to get tested and shit before we can let you come back, because somebody tested positive at a show you were at. And I was just
someone at the Funny Bone told you had to get tested?
No, they didn't. And it was like, I got hit up in the morning one morning after a rough night by Gary Becker, saying that the Funny Bone was pretty much blackballing us. We weren't allowed to perform there after signing up.
Who did he hear that from?
Becker called me up.
No, who'd Becker hear that from?
I guess that's just how he took it, because he was putting on the red flag shows, and it was maybe. So I just went on there, and I didn't go at anybody. I just said, can I still come to the show even though I'm not on the list to support the comedians?
Yeah.
And so I was like, do I need to get a test to do that? Because these tests are $130 a pop, and
I don't know if you were ever banned.
oh no, I'm not banned.
I
I
will.
just because I wasn't an asshole. I wasn't like being a dick. I was in a way, and Scott laid it out because Scott's so fucking smart and great at flipping the script on your ass. Flipped it on me completely to where I'm like, yeah, I am the asshole in this. Great. But I called out Nicole Gorey because she came on and was like, hey, you can get tests for free if you just look into this, and this is my professional health, recommendation. And if you've been around anyone that's got COVID, you should quarantine for 2 weeks. And I was like, I'll quarantine as long as you want me to, lady. You gonna pay my car note? You gonna pay my mortgage? All my other bills that I got? I'm just offering my professional health opinion. And I was like, well, I was hoping to ask you how to just diversify my portfolio a little bit on my retirement and my Roth IRA. That's all I said. I was a little bit of a dick.
So did Scott say, like, confirm that we're asking people who have been exposed to
Yeah, he's
test?
like, if you've been exposed, you shouldn't want to expose anybody. Like I said, he flipped it. He was like, you are exposed. And at this time, I didn't. I didn't know that this James Voucher or somebody had tested positive.
Yeah.
I didn't know. All I knew was I get a call from Becker saying, hey, you're not allowed to perform at the Funny Bone anymore because you were performing with me at the shows that I was putting on while they were closed down. Is how it was set up to me. Being early in the morning.
That's not true.
Yeah, no, I know that. And especially after they were like, hey, somebody tested positive at the same show you were at. I was like, oh, fuck. I got no legs to stand on. I'm fucked. So I just left it. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to argue. You're right. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not one of those guys that's going to blatantly be wrong. And
But also,
push their fact.
the Funny Bone also wouldn't enforce.
I would have liked to know, hey, this person tested positive. You need to get tested before we can let you on. So I didn't waste my time trying to catch the sign up. But
I don't think we wouldn't put someone on the list because they were exposed. That's just a level of effort. I don't think we kind of rely, like most people, on people self-policing when it comes to getting tested and stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
So I think you might have just not made the list for the regular reasons.
Oh, I wasn't even worried about it. I don't even think I signed up at that point. It was the week before I signed up. He's like, the reason we're not getting on the list, and don't get on the list I'm not one of those comedians that is like, you see and you're going to put on the list.
Yeah.
I don't go to the Funny Bone that often. I get that. It was just me first thing in the morning. If I'm not smoking herb, let's put it out there, I'm a pothead. I've had addiction issues with all kinds of drugs. But herb is the one that, like, let me get that in my system before I start. And I know that firsthand. I know. Maybe you should, like, take a bowl rip and evaluate the situation and see how silly you look. But I didn't. And I've said that multiple times. Even when I had Nicole on after that and was like, yeah, I was a moron. I was an asshole. Like, I call myself, I'm fine with admitting that. Most people won't fucking admit that they're wrong. I was probably in the wrong for calling it out because I was given shit information on it. And
I'm curious why you said that. I mean, I don't know.
But he was like, but Scott just laid it out the way it was. Like, we can't put people on that were exposed that we know, and you shouldn't be trying to get on and go out if you know. And I was like, well, I didn't fucking know until now. Like,
yeah.
So. But it's nothing like that. I've done shows with Scott since. I've spoken with him. I've even invited him on here. But Scott, being as good as he is pretty fucking booked right now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what shows there are. I don't know how many shows a guy like Scott does. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's that much. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like a comic in St. Louis can stay booked all the time in St. Louis.
Unless you're Greg Warren or Nikki Glazer.
Yeah, but they couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't. Nikki Glazer couldn't be booked every week in St. Louis.
No.
I mean, she could sell out a bar of 20 people, but there's not that much.
Really? You only think bar 20? You don't think she could pull in a few hundred?
No, she could, but it's like,
For once, not every night of the week.
yeah, there's not enough shows in St. Louis. If you
There's
live
not
in
enough
New
people
York,
that
you
care
can just
about
make a
Nikki.
full-time living as a comedian. I mean, I think most full-time comedians tour, but at least temporarily, you can make a living in New York or LA just going around the different clubs.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Like Reggie was telling me, like, yeah, you can go out there and land for gigs that are $100-something a pop a day out there and do a couple different shows if you get your name built up. And you don't have to be like this big name, but just the local shows. He's like, you get known well enough. And I've heard a few different people tell me that like, you can find 4 or 5 open mics to hit too. Oh, look at that ladybug.
I was worried she'd gone in. Are ladybugs the females?
I don't know. I know they're really good with aphid on weed because I used to always buy them as spider mite and aphid control for my marijuana when I used to grow.
I don't know what you're talking. What are you saying?
You get spider mites and aphids in your big thing that cannabis growers have an issue with as far as pest.
Okay.
Is, spider mites and aphids and ladybugs. You can go and buy them by the thousands.
They'll eat.
And you just release them in your grow room, and yeah, they'll fucking they don't like to eat the weed, but they just like to eat the spider mites and aphids.
Huh.
It's kind of a crazy way of doing it because there's ladybugs everywhere. You would think I was growing weed actually right now with the ladybugs that keep coming here, but I'm not. I am actually getting ready to start a garden. That's why there's a big pallet of fucking soil out there in my driveway.
What are you gonna grow?
Weed? No.
It's boring if you're growing something legal.
Yeah, I'm going to do mostly legal stuff. I'll have my couple of plants. If so, they want to kick my doors in for 1 or 2 plants, fuck them. Like, whatever. I'll take a weed charge all day long. I've got like 30 of them throughout since I started smoking when I was 18. Never got a grow charge because I've always been pretty smart and didn't podcast.
More of a shower.
Huh? Yeah, no, the weed, yeah, I would, you'll see me just disappear. If I was into growing weed, I wouldn't be doing podcasts. I would, no one would know, and this is the perfect place to do it. Besides the fact that Missouri's legal now, and there is no market in that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
I got a...
Recreational?
Not recreational, but it's like $100, and you can get a card and go and buy fucking... Go to a store and buy the limit there, and go to another one and buy a limit. Huh. We just had a not recreational, a medicinal dispensary like 5 minutes down the road open up. I seen that. I was like, we got a dispensary. We got a weed dispensary in our fucking area.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just refuse to spend $100 for a fucking license to buy weed. It's like, I've been doing this a lot for way too long to start like paying taxes and all that other shit. I've got single fathers to support, all right. But I don't know. I'm loyal. I'm not gonna leave my weed guy. Like I keep telling my weed guy too. I'm like, hey man, shit's getting legal around here. Maybe you should find a job somewhere.
Yeah. Running
one of these dispensaries. No, they got a job at fucking what's it called, Long John Silver's. Which isn't that a weed front? Like, isn't there conspiracy that have you ever seen someone in Long John Silver's fucking driveway? No, it's a drug fucking. It's a cover up. It's the way they launder their money. Has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be because I've never driven by one and been like, oh, they're busy. You know. Like, that line's gonna take a while to get some crab cakes and fish sticks. It's
certainly never been to a Long John Silver's. All right, I gotta.
All right, we'll get to
I'm gonna set the record for most peas.
Yeah.
I should have just had like hard liquor.
Oh yeah, Jason Nelson. That's somebody that can put him down. He was here for a podcast a couple days ago and was, he killed some fucking. He's always
making Facebook posts about quitting alcohol and then drinking again. He's so up and down.
I know he is, and he is one person that is really on keeping up with social media and regularly posting. That's my biggest issue. You'll see, like my podcast, I'll go through. Like right now, I've got the Maurice Moore, Marquise Moore, Jason Nelson, and Andy Hamilton, and now this one that I've got to, and I'll probably sit down at night and edit them all the same night, and I'll be like, all right, time to upload them. And living all the way out here, it takes forever to upload. So you'll see all of a sudden, like, uh, 1 week I'll upload 2, 3, 4 of them in a week, and then the next week I'll take off. Well, not my YouTube. I split the short clips up and try to be consecutive about that. Just because I've seen such good like actual return as far as numbers and getting a few thousand views every episode for certain ones, and my subscribers, I went from like 10 subscribers to 77 since I've started this, which
Percentage-wise, that seems big.
yeah, not when you need 1,000 of them to get monetized. You need 4,000 hours of watch time, which I get. I'm that one. I don't think I'll have any issue getting that within a 12-month span. A 4,000 hour watch time. It's the 1,000 subscribers. That's like the one that I'm not getting enough jumps on, and that's because I don't do the Instagram and Facebook that much. Like I posted on the Facebook. I try to keep up with Instagram. I don't use Twitter at all. I've got a Twitter. It doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Oh.
you know,
All right, ladybug.
take them home with you. I don't know. But one question I ask, and since you've been doing it a while, when was it? When did it? Like, did you start? Did you start as a one-liner? Or did you start? Or did you try to do anything else? Did it click for you? Like, when was it that it was like, oh, I get it. I see what works and what doesn't. Like, you see some new comedians that really try to push some of the same stuff over and over, and it's like, it's not working. And then you'll see them all of a sudden, the way they set their shit up and the way they actually write jokes, you know, because in the beginning there is a lot of comedians that they're not doing jokes. They're doing shock and awe, basically. They're just
I don't feel like I could look down on someone for doing shock and awe.
No, it wasn't me or you, both of us. Yeah, no. A lot of ours is. I like the awes. When I get the awes, it's like, oh yeah, well just wait, wait.
Yeah.
But that's why I like going after you or Adam. I know where the line is then. Like I know how far I can really go. But yeah, especially with Thatcher, I've seen him do some fucking nar.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Somebody was talking about their oven catching fire with a comedian before him, and then he came on and did a joke about Jews and how hot the Jew must have been in the oven or something. I was like, holy shit. Got a room full of laughs the way he did it. But
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking edgy there. But yeah, I noticed when from watching my first video of my very first set to now, I definitely set things up a little differently. It kind of clicked with me all of a sudden. I was like, oh, this is how I need to be setting my jokes up, or this is how my joke works, or writing this joke. Just this isn't a joke. You gotta make a fucking what is it? You need a setup before you have your punch. You can't just do a punch, especially as a one-liner. That's how I tested a lot of my shit in the beginning, was just saying the punch. And if it got giggles, I was like, all right, I'll build something around that. But I didn't know if you're...
I can't remember like any specific time something clicked. I just, at any point in my life, I look back 2 months and I'm like, oh, what a queer. I hate everything I do. Like, it's just, I think that's a sign that you're improving. But yeah, it's just constantly being disgusted with yourself from just a couple of months back, you know? So, I don't know.
Just thinking that you've outgrown that.
I just listen to old sets. I'm like, oh, I suck so much. I hate myself. Or looking through old notebooks.
That's probably one of the hardest things for me. He is pulling out that first or second notebook. It's like, man, there's nothing here. Like, how did I build 5 minutes to do my first open mic?
I somehow I had a couple jokes. I think I wrote for like 3 months before I went up for the first time, and I think I had one or two jokes in that set that I actually did for a long time. Maybe still would do if it was if I did do like 30 minutes. But yeah, it's just you're just so stupid. I mean, you started, I guess, older, which I think is a benefit. Because yeah, both your comedy age and your real age, when those are young, you're just a fucking idiot. So
yeah. There's a couple younger kids that it's like, if you guys keep doing it, by the time you hit my age and you have real life shit to talk about, all the other shit's out of the way. You've already figured out your stage presence. You already figured out how to fucking do what I'm trying to figure out now at 30 to do. They've already got that. They just need actual life to fucking happen before they can talk about something that's real funny.
Dude, there was like a guy, and there's like prodigies and shit. There's a guy Stryker who used to do it, who like started at like fucking 17 or something. I don't remember. And it's like got pretty far and is pretty funny at a really young age. And they just like, I don't know, he kind of dropped off the stand-up map. I don't think he does it anymore. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, there was these 3 kids before COVID hit. And you can tell they just got out of high school, I heard. And they, all 3 of them came in and did an open mic, and they were all just freshly 18. And they actually all did pretty well. And I remember telling them, I was like, if you guys keep doing this, like, you're already getting real laughs. Like, you keep it at it. Like, I don't know if you guys are working with each other or if that's how you built that. One of them told me that they had been working on it that was their thing. At the end of the year, after they graduated, they were going to go do open mic. And I was like, well, if you guys keep doing it, fucking, you'll get there. Like, because one kid, I always say, he had this joke about 9/11 and being in an apartment next to it and jerking off. He's like, could you imagine just sitting there and 9/11 happening and you're jerking off and you're like, he brought
Wait, was he reading a book?
the pornos, how back in the day that you used like porno magazines and shit.
I guess.
Yeah.
In 2001, were people using mostly magazines to jerk off? That seems a little late.
I don't know, but I think he was just sticking it at us older people because he had another comment about if it didn't hook up to the internet, it was useless. And I called him. I was like, hey, man, everything is built with hammers and nails, because that was his joke. Like, if it's hammer and nails, it doesn't hook up to the internet. It's not important. It's like, you asshole. Because I hardly know how to get my fucking... I still to this day have shit internet because I don't know how to get Elon Musk and his Starlink out in this motherfucker. Like, we are one exit away. We have Charter. Can't get high-speed internet. I've got this little box over there that people with RVs use that does hotspot.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I guess we've been going for a little while. What's your socials that people can find you at? Where do you do socials? I know a lot of people are all about plugging their Instagrams or whatever.
If you send me a Facebook friend request, I probably won't accept it.
Yeah, it took me a while to get them here.
Dude, I stopped. I'm just lazy. I just stopped accepting friend requests, and I don't have an Instagram or Twitter. I mean, I technically have a Twitter. I just haven't touched it in forever.
Yeah.
Don't bother following me.
Twitter got you into some hot water back in the day, didn't it? Was it you?
Maybe. Dude,
Kobe?
Facebook has gotten me into a lot of hot water.
Yeah. Oh, Facebook's definitely that's why I got rid of it a long time ago. I was like, it's best I don't have this anymore. And all
Yeah,
the
you
hate,
know, if
man.
you're a bottle of wine in and Kobe dies and you make some helicopter jokes, yeah, it's not.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's the one I remember, and I thought it was funny. I mean, I'm all about it. Like, I also really like Ari Schaefer that does it on anybody that ever dies. He does something on it, and it's like he makes a post about it,
Huh.
and he caught a lot of shit on the Kobe shit too.
Yeah.
And as someone that grew up playing ball, I figured there would be a lot more. Like I was like, y'all are getting mad about that. People have been joking about the Kobe shit for a long time. Who was the comedian that was talking about oh, number 32 is okay, but the other one's got
Daniel Tosh,
Daniel. Yeah,
number whatever, is a great work
yeah,
ethic.
yeah.
Yeah.
He brings it up, which is another one. Like I love how Daniel Tosh is like, I'm one show away. He's like, eventually I'm gonna do it, and they're gonna be like, oh, he thought he could say that, like, and I'm gonna hang my career up. And he's one of my favorite. Jesselnick and Tosh.
Yeah.
As far as right now, they're probably the only comedians out there I really feel pushing the lines with some of their jokes. Louis C.K. did.
He went too far.
He took, yeah. Which he told him. I mean, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm not super. I mean, I'm very biased towards Louis C.K., but I also just what he did, I don't care about.
Yeah,
like, you ask someone if you can jerk off in front of them, and
a
they
yes or
say
no question.
and they say yes, but they didn't mean it, maybe, and then you do it, and there's also like, well, you're in a position of power because you're not their boss, but you're the headliner at a festival, and they're the. I don't know. I just don't give a shit. I don't think anyone would give a shit if the genders were reversed, which I don't know what that means. Because a lot of things,
That's true.
if you reverse the genders, no one gives a shit. I don't know if that means you shouldn't give a shit with the genders being how they are currently, or if maybe the gender is important a bit. You give, women are just weaker.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Good, perfect example. If Harry with Oprah would have pulled out his dick and jerked off, he would have been canceled. Meghan Markle start flicking the bean. She'd be the next Kim Kardashian. Think about it. With Oprah, shit. Come on, I don't know how many men are out there that haven't thought about it at least once. It was like, she's got a lot of money. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
I think
It's not.
Dave Chappelle did a joke about it. He would try to get her pregnant. Tell Stedman to pack his shit. Send the jet, bitch. Like, I would get her pregnant. Oprah looks good from the left. You just got to keep her. I don't know. I mean, you get me drunk enough, and what's her name? That old funny bitch should get it. The Betty White. She just seems like she knows how to throw it back. I mean, let's keep it real. Have you seen Betty White?
Yes.
She's got it going on. She takes those dentures out. Just think of the pressure, the suction. It's gone too far. So, you got no socials. You're like, fuck the Twitter. I'm the same way.
I'm on Facebook. That's it.
Yeah, Facebook. Guess that means we're old too. Because Facebook isn't the cool thing to have. Somebody said.
Yeah, I guess like Rob Durham's on TikTok.
Did he get his TikTok? Because I had him on.
Dude, he made a Facebook post. He got like 103 somethings. I don't know what's on TikTok, but like 103,000 views or something like that on TikTok.
One of it, I tried to explain to him what the short clip videos were on YouTube, which is just the TikTok version on YouTube that they're trying to compete with the TikTok. And I was like, yeah, dude, if you just take a couple clips and you make them less than a minute long and you put hashtag shorts in it, it'll be a short clip video. And that's how I'm getting a lot of my views and really getting my numbers up. And he did it with like one. I was like, you got to do it with more than that. I did like 4 out of his episode, and I got, I think, 2 of them that are over 2,000 views. And like, see, man, this is how you got to do it. Because I asked him, he wanted to do the mentoring or the kind of, what was it, basically reviewing someone's set, send your set in to them and tell you.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I was like, fuck that. How much to pay you to mentor? To, like, come to my shows and be there? He's like, oh, that's just too much time. Like, how much money do you need, man? That's the best thing about being a comedian that has a real job. I can afford to do this. Like, that's how I got on in the back door so much in the beginning. I'd always donate money to them.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, when I can afford it, why not? I'm always there. I see that they were supporting the fucking comedians. I knew COVID was hitting them hard. I was like, they were sending us stimuluses. I was still working full time. I was like, fuck it, take $100, $200 with a card. Yeah, I'm always there. They're always hooking it up. Mike was always giving me opportunities.
Wow.
And when they're doing, COVID was really hitting everything hard, and they really needed it. He was still putting on comedy shows and wasn't making no money. Yeah, I wish I could have done it for all, Helium and the Funny Bone, but at the time, Mike had presented and offered more opportunities throughout my time in comedy than they had, and I felt more welcome there than the other two. Not like I'm not welcome at the other ones, but if I didn't show up to the back door for 2-3 weeks in a row, I'd probably get a personal message from Mike Tobin or Nick Lacer, like, "Hey man, what's going on? Why aren't you?" So same thing with you. If you didn't show up to work and you didn't show up to the Funny Bone for a couple of weeks, you probably
But
that's your employment.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Hey, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Well, do you think if you weren't working at the Funny Bone, you want to be there? You want to go there as often?
I'd probably go there as often outside of work. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's the best place, and I did before I started working there.
Yeah. How long were you performing before you worked there? 2 years?
I guess about a year.
A year. Yeah. How'd you get in so good there? Who'd you get the reach around to?
It's not hard to get employment at the Funny Bone. I don't know if you have met Elliot.
Yeah.
There's a comic who moved to Seattle who was really good, Andrew Frank. He used to work in the box office, and he was just like, "Hey man, I think this could help you get work at the Funny Bone as a comedian." And they just didn't vet me at all. Like, it's just all it took was his suggestion, and I was fucking in.
Yeah, the Funny Bone is I like it. It's I could never have nothing against them. I'm just realistic when it comes to, like, as far as the COVID shit and everything that went down. I was getting better crowds at the Word Up. Like I said, through that whole thing, they were like, there's a couple times that they were telling people they were denying customers because they were so full, and and I knew I could get on there. That's what I tell a lot of comedians. They're like, "I think I'm just gonna go to the Funny Bone, even though I didn't make the list, and watch." I was like, "Dude, but you can get some stage time here and work on some shit." And like, so I guess you kind of put what you give some, you take some, pros and cons. I guess. That's why they don't like me at the Funny Bone, and that because I talk shit that one time.
I feel like no one actually in charge took notice. Certainly, Matt doesn't know your name. Like,
No.
he doesn't know. Yeah.
But he knows that fucking Mexican Ronaldo. Ronaldo. What do you think about that kid for being his age and what he's doing? I think
How old is he?
he's like 22, 21.
I guess I do vaguely remember his 21st birthday. Yeah.
He's fucking killing it.
He's gonna do well.
Yeah. How often does he come in like, "I'm going to take this show from Spencer"? No, you're in the box office. That's right.
Yeah, I can't actually do. If I wanted to try to host, I'd have to get off work. It actually is not a good job to have if you want to be a working comedian. But Ronaldo comes up and just hangs out a lot and gets a lot of guest sets, and hosts a lot at the Funny Bone.
Yeah, he's. I remember when John Maddie was doing that a lot of the time. Anytime I hit him up, he's like, "Oh, I'm at the Funny Bone, just hanging out." It's like, okay, why don't you come up here? I was like, "I'm good." Like,
It's fun.
This is before I did comedy. So,
It's fun to hang out there.
yeah. There's always good. That's the best thing about comedy. There's always good, funny, fucking people to hang out with most of the time. No matter where you go, what open mic it is, what place it is. If there's comedy based and there's comedians there, I usually have a good time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen that way very often with my wife and the hobbies we do with other people. It's like, how long is this? Ah, damn. But right on. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Looks like we're working on 3 hours here.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Time flies when you're drunk.
And we didn't even get to talk about aliens. Oh well. What do you think about aliens?
I don't know.
What about all the government shit that they've come out with in the past year?
I don't know. I guess I'm just reluctant to believe that it's actual aliens on Earth, even though it seems kind of convincing.
Well, with the Pentagon admitting that they've recovered an unearthly made vehicle, it's kind of like, oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
But I want to see them.
Yeah.
I want to be able to hook up with these aliens. I hear they got out of this world pussy. No, that's hacky. No, but that's what's up, man. I appreciate you coming all the way out here. I know it's like a 40 fucking minute drive.
It's not shit.
I mean,
I drove from San Diego. Like,
is
driving
true.
is so easy now.
Yeah. Do you usually do it with your old lady?
No.
No.
We've taken a couple of trips, maybe 2. I don't know.
Yeah, me and my wife do it. It's like, rule is, if you're not driving, get in the back and go to sleep. Because then I'll watch my YouTube videos of whatever I'm watching or Netflix.
Dude, I'd rather drive, even though I was really sleep deprived, than try to sleep when, she's Asian. And
some stereotypes are true.
I'm not going to say she's a bad driver. I'm saying it's really hard to trust and fall asleep when someone's trying to drive at night in a windy road. Because a lot of these roads, these mountains are both, a lot of undulations and turns and going up and down. And I would quit driving, and I'm like, I'm just going to have to drink myself into a stupor, and it's going to take like 4 hours because it's fucking terrifying. I'd rather drive. So the way home, I was just like, drove most of the way.
Yeah, so you get home and crash out for probably fucking a day.
Yeah, I slept till 6 p.m. yesterday.
So you just got back then.
I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
So you're still like, I don't fucking even know what's going on.
Yeah. Saw my kitties.
You're a cat guy?
Yeah, I am now.
Yeah,
I was never a cat guy. And then like maybe 2 years ago, she's like, I bought a cat. I'm like, okay, I'm allergic, but I guess we have a cat now. I fucking love them so much.
I thought about getting one for around here. One like those big fat fucking hairy cats that catches mice and shit. But my luck, it won't be. It'll be an asshole. Because I got 2 big ass dogs that just think everything's made for playing.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do. But that's what's up. I appreciate it. Tell Janelle, isn't it?
Janelle.
I said, what's up? I said hello. She is, we've spoken a few times. She probably don't remember me. Last time I think I seen her, she was selling her fans only foot profile or something to the crowd. She's like, yeah, fans only. I got my feet on there.
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. Whatever, man. I'm married. I don't get these.
Dude, I don't get, like, some people were talking about OnlyFans. I don't know.
So if I could
It's
put
new
my
to me.
schlong on somewhere and get paid for it, fuck yeah, but they're not going to do that for me. Maybe my old lady, if she like put some cleavage shots and some feet pictures.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be some good income.
I mean, if you're fine with her sleeping with other men.
Yeah, but not, in front of me. I'm not a cuck. Tonight. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I really wouldn't care if she was a fans only, or only fans fucking star.
Yeah.
As long as it's bringing in the bacon. That's what I always tell her when she goes out. Wear a condom. Get them to pay a bill. You know.